garden soft fruit. Rex plans in his strut, tribal chief with bad vibes, tearing it up. MSG crowd, stunned faces in the stands. Cody shakes his head. This again? Damn, man.
What's going on, chat? Jake, countdown ended. It's into somewhere. The sloppy Saturday Stay Sexy stream. Hopefully I don't have to say that a bunch of times fast, but how's everybody doing out there in amazing Sideland? What an awesome time to be live. I'm telling you, it's been a day, but I'm excited to be here. I have been... I've been dealing with it. It's been a week. It's been stressful. I think everybody's been a little bit down, you know, and WrestleMania should be this weekend. It feels odd that it hasn't already happened or isn't happening now. And it's a bit of a shown, not a slug, but it is a slow build. You know, you definitely feel the length between the Rumble and Mania, even with the chamber in between. So hopefully everybody's doing well. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us. This is multifaceted. We're going to go ahead and join into the Discord side of things and join the voice chat. People are going to join us over there. And we're also going to be testing things and going nuts with the new setup and seeing how everything looks and going into the black void. That's right. But all in all, it'll be fun. We'll see what happens. We're going to mess around with it. I know I'm excited, so... hopefully everyone in chat is doing well. Like I said, whenever you guys want to hop in, feel free. So I'm trying to make sure everything sounds good. So far, so good. I'm hearing it pretty well, so that's a positive. As where the stream before was just me with no audio for a bit. So I'm excited that that is working quite well today. Yeah, we've got our build to WrestleMania, and I rewatched the John Cena promo from Raw the other day, and wow, was that good. I mean, I don't know if I gave it enough of credit the first time, because I felt like that's what we should have been being given this entire time, that type of intensity. I mean, he was ever present in the other promos, but none of them hit to the level that this one did. The barbs and jabs he threw, it actually felt like he was explaining his rhyme and reasoning rather than just alluding to it. And besides touching on The Rock, which they can fix here or there, I thought this was stellar. I mean, there's so many memorable lines from this promo. You know, you think back and it's like, oh, you got to learn to cut a promo, kid. You know, him and Roman Reigns kind of thing. Now we're seeing it, and it's like, holy shit, hey, it works. You know, I build empires for billionaires, and all you do is take money from their kids. Oh my God. And then you hear him, you know, beforehand dropped, you know, so many great lines. And I especially love the, I don't bury talent. I am talent. I bury mediocrity. But Cody got him good. It was pretty entertaining. And they're back and forth. Damn it, I was impressed that Cody held on. I knew he could. I knew it would be a tight battle, but John started to get the crowd to go towards him. They were on his side for the most part. And like I said, sloppy stream, I am going ahead and I've even got a little mixer here of grenadine and lime juice. So that'll hopefully make everything taste less like death. I probably should have grabbed a straw, but hopefully everybody that's here is having a good night or evening themselves, depending on where you are. It's been, like I said, a week. So I am forever broken and injured, and I managed to, with not even a cool story yet again, do something to my ankle/foot. So I had to go and wait. Yesterday and today, I finally got in on the standby list for an MRI. So I have to call Monday and make a new appointment, and then I'll get the results of that bad boy. And I don't want to have surgery. Come to find out, I have a connective tissue disorder and my tendons and anything that needs connecting basically are prone to going kaput. Her exact quote was "poof" was more like it. She said she hadn't felt an ankle that was this loose in some time. So I was like, "Girl, I'm tight." Oh, the ankle. I have, I don't always have the teeth in gummies. That's like extra in the OnlyFans department. But yeah, she was very humorous, but pretty concerned. She's like, whatever you did to your ankle, you managed to do it good. So I'm sitting over here. I got the heating pad on top of the brace. I can move with the brace. It's just extremely fucking painful. What else is new? When do I not hurt myself? But chat, we're going to have people stopping in, jumping by. We're going to be testing some things tonight. Like I said, we're going to be messing around a little bit here and there. You're going to see me kind of disappear into the dark void, and I'll take us all into the ether. But what's terrible is how they manage on YouTube to copyright everything under the sun. And let's see here. Do I have to unmute you? I don't know. Or you muted yourself? I believe we have Cody here, so we'll find out in a second. What's going on, my good man? Can you hear me? Testing on Discord. Well, while we work that out, he's still muted. I don't know if you need permissions in here. I don't think so. I thought anybody will find out. Goddamn Discord. There we go. Sounds like we're making progress.
Can you hear me?
Oh, success. We can hear you. What's going on, my good man? We got Cody here with us.
I don't know what happened there. It had me muted when I came in.
I'm sorry, my friend. I think it mutes you automatically. Discord's a bit of a fickle mistress. So I'll have to, I will get better with my audio settings and all of that, and I'll learn, but there's like a few key things that I have to really get used to. So one, this mic, very sensitive. Like it's hyper aware of everything going on around you. Two, can't touch, move, or fickle with the microphone because it creates horrible sounds. So that's another thing, because I'm always adjusting and moving the mic because I'm forever moving. But I was also prone to having to, beforehand, be on top of it. So there are some cool things with the Wave program. So you basically have to go ahead and, let's see, how can I... There's my wavelength, so you can see what I'm dealing with here. So everything that you have has to be its own source. And for a while, I wasn't getting it to work in the realm of what we needed. And then I realized under voice chat, see, go ahead and talk for a second, my friend.
At all.
See, look at that. It goes on in voice chat now. So the problem is that I didn't adjust the Discord into this voice chat to the output in the Discord settings. Reddit didn't help shit, but you certainly didn't.
They couldn't hear me?
No, they can hear you now, but I'm saying the other day when I was running the test, like it was a nightmare. Poor Spaz had some issues himself, and his computer is basically a potato. I mean, it's not great to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, that's a little bit better. Yeah, what?
I like it. Oh, yeah, man.
I'm going to abuse the shit out of that, sorry. I'll get over the sound bar eventually, but I got it. I pause in the chat. What do you got to do?
Oh, yeah.
You got to drink quick, yeah?
We got to say how much AI has advanced, because I have 2 accounts running right now on Discord while you're live streaming, and I make it look like there's a second person there, too.
Right?
That's insanity.
It isn't. You were the master of it. So I found earlier some rough cuts, and you can still hear me rapping before the AI was like really polished. So our song for the Into Somewhere Weekly, this is, you recognize it, like that's the one we do. So
Yeah.
I think this is. Right in the beginning, you hear my voice like clear as day. And it's funny, like until the AI takes over and changes my style there, it's just me rapping badly, you know? You hear it's like Gordon, and then it picks up into the rap voice. Like
We got to get you rapping raw right now, like without AI or anything. Let's get you rapping right now. Can we do
oh
it?
God, I'm a white boy, but my neck is red. I put Miracle Whip on my Wonder Bread. No, I don't remember the whole thing from Scary Movie, but
I mean, I do that. Wait, what? I don't know. Sorry.
I'm not a lyrical magician, but
Not for this show. Not for the show. Subscribe to our OnlyFans. And
absolutely, that's where it's at. So I'm happy with the camera quality and the fact that it's not delayed. 1, 2, 3. Like I said, it's going to be some odd stuff, but I am paying attention to the chat, and we're going to be having a great night tonight. So I really appreciate you guys coming, hanging out. We're going to make it fun. We're going to be having a good time. We have more people coming, so
what do we
possibly
wanna
some
talk about?
surprises. Oh, look at that! I'm coming through loud and clear there. I was just trying to pop the chat out. What's that?
Want to talk about WWE, AEW?
Whatever you want. How about this? I'm curious how you feel. How did you feel about the John Moxley spot where he was obviously impaled with that spike baseball bat thingamajig, you know, that they went ahead and constructed sloppily?
I mean, it looked like however they made that, it just looked bad. But I don't mind those kind of spots, but they do it like on a daily basis, like it's your typical drop kick or super kick. So,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that all the time. It's more special when you save those spots for
something purposeful. Yeah, they really did not deliver well here because it was on such a just random shit show. And I believe it was Spaz that showed me before, like, hey, look, they made a t-shirt out of it. So they just have the Mox logo on the front. And it's got him arched back with the baseball bat in his back. And it's like, I get it, but
I think hot take, people might shit on this hot take, but when John Moxley first went to AEW, I think he was better than the Dean Ambrose character. Right now, I think the Dean Ambrose character is better than the current state of the John Moxley character.
oh, absolutely.
John Moxley, I don't know. Something about him's boring, and I can see why WWE didn't want him to do all the stuff he did because it would have been done on a weekly basis. I think like Vince, like he didn't mind those once in a while crazy thumbtack spots or whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, once in a while, but you could see Spaz's computer there. It literally is just a potato with some RAM sticking out of it, poor guy. So,
Well,
he's trying, but you're not that much far behind. So we're working on everybody getting better gear. That's the goal. You know, we're trying to go ahead and get everybody to enjoy themselves and sound as crystal clear as possible, right? So we'll see how it turns out in the long run. But we're getting ready. Again, transition change. Bam. I didn't mean to do that, but still. Yeah, we have a massive streaming schedule coming up, and it's going to be extensive. I know my allergies are killing me today. I am like, just my nose is forever itchy and runny. It's not fun. You deal with allergies at all or any type of seasonal stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So then you know it's been brutal.
And on top of that, with the asthma, it's not fun.
No, not at all. So, it's been certainly, I think, difficult for everybody. And Spaz says he's trying. No worries, bud. We'll see what happens if you're unable to get in or not. If you need an invite or anything, let me know, sir. We'll make it work.
Topic much, but something that's been on the news lately. I know we're getting down in the political dumps again, but fuck it. But what do you think about tariffs?
I'm like a wait and see what happens with it kind of thing right now, because I know it's a fence sitting position to have, but I just don't really have an opinion because it seems like it's going to be terrible initially, and then in the long run, it may level out and work itself out when we depend more on local stuff. But still, it's going to be a price hike for us, and we're already in a bad recession. So
I can see the pros and cons of both of this because the Republicans ran their campaign on the Democrats made everything more expensive, elect us into office, and everything will be cheaper again. But you go with the tariffs thing to skyrocket the prices even further. So that just contradicts the whole reason why they ran their campaign to take down the Democrats. But I see the pros of it too because in the long run, apparently, it's supposed to help the American people not pay taxes anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand it because other countries have been ripping us off. That is the case. We pay like higher tariffs for every other country, but every other country doesn't have to do that to us. So that's why Trump's raising the tariffs on everyone else.
Yeah, and I get it in some regards. Like I understand what they're going for, but then on the other side of it, it's like, how much are we going to suffer in the long run? It's not going to affect the American citizen that doesn't already notice the taxes coming out of their pockets. You know, I'm not trying to say like, oh, the rich have to pay for it. That's not my point. But the people that are already struggling to buy eggs are going to be the ones that now can't buy bread and coffee as well as eggs. Like there's going to be issues, and I'm just apprehensive. I'm not being negative. Going against your president is like being on a flight and hoping you crash because you don't like the pilot. You know, it's like, it makes no sense. You don't want your country to fail. I may not be the biggest Trump supporter in the world, but the first time I was part of that orange man bad regime, just from what I had built in. But in the long run, that was not my purview, and I was hopeful that things would be better this time around. But
do you view yourself? I don't think people will judge here. I don't mind who is on what side. Do you view yourself more liberal, conservative, down the middle? Where do you view
pretty much down the middle, because I can see myself. It's such a bitch answer, I know, but I've usually been more liberal leaning, but everything pretty much weighs on that side of things. So
I was too, but I just don't like the whole cancel culture and like I get maybe wokeness to an extent, but like there's some people that are just too woke, and like then it goes down a slump of fantasies and like, you know, things that shouldn't be happening, because
so
you get
that's kind of the crux of it, right? And that's a bit of an issue, and it's I don't know. I that's why I stray away from politics, because it's so nuanced, and I never was truly informed enough to make these like lambasted, long-winded diatribes on what I think should or shouldn't be allowed happening and such. And unfortunately, it's like, hey, I get that, you know, on this platform you get to have fun. We'll have to do like a real like political focus show one night and do like a debate, you and I, or something. I think that could be, do it like a Kumite blood sport kind of thing. You know, we can plan it out.
Yeah, I like that.
I know someone I have in mind that would be an amazing moderator, and I think we could have a lot of fun with that, you and I.
Yeah, let's see what like sides.
Well, what I love about you is how well versed you are in both sides. Like you always are able to objectively look at an issue, and that's rare. And you have your opinions, your biases, of course, but you manage to go ahead and be objective until judgment has to be passed, and that always blew me away. So, what's going on, Trek? Shout out to you and Paul and everybody in the chat. I appreciate it.
I feel like I'm down the middle because, like you said, like I have my biasness, but like I will always see like what.
It's better to be a middle than a bottom, Cody. I agree.
Oh yeah, you know, you can't be a bottom.
No, but honestly, that's the thing. Like, all joking aside, I fall, and this was other shows that I used to be on. It would piss them off because I wasn't trying to be like fence sitting, but I didn't have enough information to really feel like, oh shit, it's spaz. Yeah, I didn't think I had an informed opinion, but my opinion is that oh shit.
I like it. Oh, yeah, man.
Spaz Phoenix, what's going on, you sexy son of a bitch? Welcome to the Saturday sloppy stay sexy stream. I think I fucked it up already.
Whoa,
sorry.
Sloppy slop.
Well, first of all, hello, Cody.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, man. Nice to hear a voice, put a voice to the text, etc., etc., etc. Cheers.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Look at this! Look at this beautiful love fest going on here.
I don't know how to turn my camera on, Jake.
At the
Oh,
bottom. So we're gonna play Who Goose the Moose with Discord. and we're gonna figure out how to add. And you should have there shouldn't be roles in here. It's just it's a private channel, but it's boosted so we can get that goodness.
It is a love fest. What are the roles? Were we role playing now or something? What are we doing?
You if you want to role play, I mean,
Do we have to save that for the OnlyFans though?
I don't think so. You know, we can make it as dirty as you want to be. You say my name, I'll come.
There we go. I kind of exist. I have to lean into the camera so it doesn't think I've disappeared. But
exactly. But now I know there's a way to get so this is why we're doing this now, because one, I'm slightly an idiot, and then I want to capture just your incoming area, basically. I don't want to have to like prop everybody. There's usually like an actual like, hey, this is what's going on here, or this is what, it's like I don't have to show the entire thing. So I know there's a Discord there. So I think if I click on you, we got Pig Venus there too. We got a bunch of, like I said, it's open for fun. People know. So we're in the thick of it tonight. Be prepared.
Oh, we're in the thick of it. All right.
I don't know who's coming and who's hanging out, but I don't want to do full screen. That's not going to help me. Well, it might. I don't know. Hold on. Let's switch that back. Bring back XSplit. So let's see what I can manage there. For now, that's basically going to be the test. How's that? It's not great. Not great, but it's a work in progress, okay? Look at that. Thank you, sir. I'll give you a little.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, you sexy son of a bitch?
I have risen from the dead.
People didn't know it, but they do now. The one, the only, goddamn, it's legendary, it's true, baby, don't be blue. The one, the only. Okay, babe. Yeah, that's right, buddy. He's back in the game, and we're gonna work on getting. We'll figure out. Hold on, what happened to our Discord? So let's grab that copy, bring it over here. You ready? And then post as a new source linked. I'm getting this little tips, but look, I'm getting it. Ooh, baby, look at that. Hold on, we gotta bring. Where is it? Bring that down a bunch so we get all your lovely socials and stuff over there, and then it'll cycle between you guys and I'll be on top of you. Success.
That's usually how I like it. That's usually how it goes. So.
You don't have to use your camera, but
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
That is right. I've got to change the title now because it has to say the return of OKFabe.
I'm not the headline anymore.
I'm so pumped. I was so excited. You just need like 10 entrance themes, Connor, because I work with Cody. Cody's a great guy. He lives like 7 seconds away from me, and we still have not actually met in person. We're gonna do that this week. I've been putting aside podcasting equipment for him, like a squirrel hiding nuts. And now I have a tin can full of like hundreds of dollars of other podcasting equipment. So he's like got a decent setup growing. And it's been like, all right,
he's got a setup that's not set up in your house.
Exactly. Well, I'm trying to get him in the basement, but we'll get there.
Just lock the doors.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure, if I can just throw this out here for a second, for people that are into the long-lasting lore over on my channel, I'm pretty sure the last time Connor and I were in the same call was when I was in the middle of some old-school YWC drama, and by comparison, I'd love that to come back. And I actually had you interviewed me about it.
Why do you want? Wait, you want YWC drama to come back? Why?
I want the old kind of YWC drama, where as opposed to what we have now, which is just I don't like what you have to say, so I'm gonna I don't make money on here. That hasn't changed. This is still a hobby for me. I get to work with great people like yourself and Jake and whatever. I've never made a dime here, but the people that do make a dime here that get targeted, and it's like I don't like your opinion, therefore you don't get to feed your family this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas before, the worst thing that could happen to you in the YWC was you would have legends like Wrestling Jesus that would do a burial on you, and it would be funny as hell.
Yeah,
was what
or
was
Sean's
funny.
view would whip his penis out, or somebody would have a small freak out, but people weren't losing their minds. Ludwig Kaiser was not sliding into anyone's DMs, that's for certain.
God. Oh my
Now,
god.
I'm not gonna lie. Spaz just bringing all that up makes me think like, what if we did a YWC YouTube rewind?
Right? I
Oh
mean,
my god.
think about how much fun that could be.
Somebody lost it.
Did I lose anybody?
What
Oh, okay, we got it.
Sean's
So,
view on the show? Do you have contact with Sean's view? I want to get Sean's view on the show.
right? It would be great.
I just want to revisit the old feuds of like I was always a spectator. I wasn't really in the mix until like a couple of my ex co-hosts got on my case. When
You
Mark
just want this
Pierce-
to be an A&E. You just want this to be on like a WWE A&E biography, don't you? At this point, because WWE is just fucking
Maybe.
everywhere.
But
Yeah,
see, the point of it is though is like I don't even want to bring up the stuff that went down with me because I was small fry then, I'm still small fry now. But some of the bigger feuds that were fun to watch, Sean's View versus Wrestling Jesus, Wrestling Jesus and General Jerry versus JD involved. So that was just like secondary wrestling fun for me with the wrestling fans.
those are the days.
Yeah, I remember when JD and Sean's view had their little beef. Aren't here?
I don't know. He liked to point out that Jake lives in Connecticut.
Hey, I'm sorry, I had to mute each of you individually when you're talking a little bit, but it's really cool because now I have Spaz, OK Fabe, and Cody. Each of you have your own knob, so I can individually tune you up, down,
I've had my
left,
own knob
right,
for years.
side.
So I was about to say that's not new
Well,
information.
that's not new. I mean, I
Pause.
was turning Connor's knob long ago to get him to make thumbnails as juicy as this
Pause.
one. Thank you for that. That is so
Pause.
sexy. Four paws. I'll be a furry if you need me to right now because it's
Yeah.
a sloppy stream. I'm like 3 shots into this drink. So guys, please. Oh, that's right. The green screen up here is not a happy camper with this drink. Look at that.
That's actually hilarious.
Mine was
So-
freaking out, so I gave up on the camera real quick.
Let's see. Can I change the back?
I'll
Yeah,
download
hold on.
it.
I'll show you in a second. Yeah, absolutely. There is no pressure. We're just hanging out and having fun. So let me go into VCam here. If I take off, that's the background right now. You'll see it in a second. You should. Hold on. We'll see if it transitions over. But that's without removing any of the background. That's what we get. So you just have this crazy green screen. And then, where is it here?
I love that the only thing that actually shows through as green is the green that's coming through the glass.
Right? That's it. It was just that. Ta-da! Yeah. Hey.
Wait, there's an entire sound. Oh, wait a minute. There's a whole.
Oh yeah, they have a
soundboard here
whole
with that.
soundboard.
Ah.
They
Man,
do
remember
have
that
this
was
really
late.
cool feature where I don't have it on right now because it makes you look like a drunk autist if you're not focused with it. But it makes your eyes always
Sold.
focused into the camera. It's really cool,
Oh,
but
God, yeah.
this way you're
that's
never
something
looking
I always-
away.
Yeah, I've always struggled with that in terms of camera placement has always been a tricky thing for me whenever I was doing the reviews before because my setup changed a lot. Like it changed a couple of times over, and I never rewatched any of my old stuff. Probably for the best. But I did notice a couple of times where I'd be like up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right. I don't know where my notes are. I cannot see where I am going. Is that my eye? Or I cannot tell. Like it's like literally all over. The place.
Exactly. You're just like,
I
oh
can't-
shit.
I can't place a camera to save my life. 99 since the time that you would have been doing stuff with me more often, my things basically become a podcast to the point where I've even changed the name and I've gotten onto multiple other things. Pretty much the only time I show my face is when I'm on somebody else's stream, and that's usually just with Jake.
Yeah, usually. Shout out to Gorilla Strong in the chat as well, talking about an OG
Man,
legend.
You talk about a legend right there. That the man, the myth, the legend, Gorilla Strong. I'm just the man, the myth, and the guy who's not allowed within 500 feet of that really weird Burger King that you know the one I'm talking about.
I still
Well,
appreciate that
I
Gorilla
mean,
Strong bought us 2K, I think it was 20 at that point. Might have been a terrible game, but his heart was in the right place. What a sexy bastard. That's what we streamed on Twitch forever, you and I. Remember, we before the retrospective, we had the gaming thing going on. It's funny to see how much that, like, you guys had the super group, and then, like, there was so much going on, and it was just, like, this crazy community and a whirlwind of, like, everybody went their own way at one point, and then I kind of lost track of a few people. Now, I'm not great at keeping in touch to begin with, but...
You said this. You said the C word. Don't say the C word.
I know. Or cease and desist.
Wait, what's-
Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. we might, for those followers of my channel, we might have another familiar face in about 20 minutes or so. We might have a guapo.
We might. Dun dun dun. How cool would that be?
Make it sound like you caught a Pokemon.
Okay, we've got a guapo, an OK fame, a countdown ended, a Spaz Phoenix, and a Cody. What's your thing? Judgment Day era. Sorry.
Exactly. So I see if I share my camera, it's just going to loop forever. So we're still working on it. You guys, if you guys, when you have your camera stuff set, and then I can go ahead, you'll be seen on the screen. So I've got that much. I'm only covering some of you, you know.
Right.
But
What's that you said? We can be obscene on the screen.
you can be obscene on the screen in the scene. Hey, hey, hey.
Ain't that'll be right back.
Take
So
your
what if one
time.
of us decided to pull a Sean's view?
Oh no. Oh no.
What happens there?
Yeah, we're just hanging
It was a
in.
dildo
So
in CGI.
I'm so excited to work with Guapo. You have no idea. I was telling the story the other day. I think I told Cody too. Like hearing him called Guapo fucked me up because that is all we called my buddy Justin growing up. That was it. People in the chat, let me know, how is the volume overall? Your Undertaker episode is still my favorite. I know. That is some of the best content that Connor and I made together ever was those retrospectives. I'm still proud of those. Like Spaz and I have a great like driven force of consistently delivering a bunch of badass podcasts, but those retrospectives also hold like a really strong place in my heart. And it's amazing, like the different contrast of style, like compared to what I did with Connor to what I do with you. But both of you allowed us to get like that creative juices flowing. And it was just like that retrospective for The Undertaker. Connor and I did that before Mania. It was so long. We went through his entire career up until he retired. And
I think that was right around the time that I might have talked to you for the first time.
I think, yeah, around then is when I joined as the NXT guy.
That's true, because we had, what did we have at the time? Because I split my channel in 3 different directions. You were the NXT guy that did that stuff with me. Guapo was the AEW guy when AEW was worth talking about.
Yeah.
And Kristen and I split off for a little while because she kind of walked away from wrestling, and we did Flicks Fix for a little bit and did some of the more.
That's right. I forgot about that. Because you guys were doing movie reviews. So detailed. Yeah.
COVID.
Oh
The
God.
greatest thing, and I haven't talked to Kristen in forever. So if by any stretch of the imagination anybody listening knows Kristen, tell her we're still talking about her and we miss having her in the family, so to speak. But the great thing about that was she was like, "Well, what should we watch?" Because I haven't watched anything, and I've got like all my favorite movies, and it's just like, oh, what did we do? We did like the Alien trilogy, and then we did like the original Batman, like. You guys
went the Michael Keaton one. Sorry, the microphone was attacking me. I moved it. It smacked me in the face, and it just got a little wild there. So
no, what did we do? We did a thing because we didn't do a Batman trilogy per se. We did a Joker trilogy. So we did the Michael Keaton Batman, and then the Batman with what was it, Heath Ledger in it, and then we did the actual Joker movie. So instead of a trilogy of Batman movies, we did a trilogy of Joker movies, and then we did the Alien trilogy, where I lost the recording for Alien 3.
Oh, so that's right. You were so upset over that.
I was, and
that was heartbreaking because you guys recorded this great show, and then all of a sudden it was just poof, gone. And I've had that happen a few times.
The whole thing is like I made a what did I say? I made some. It made sense at the time, but basically I managed to compare Alien 3 to Shawshank Redemption. And it came off as a little ridiculous, as some of my points tend to do. And the accusation, jokingly, was that
like only you can compare those two.
Well, no, but I don't even remember what the comparison point was, but it made sense at the time. But the joking accusation was the fact that I realized how silly I sounded and deleted the recording, whereas it's like, no, I'm just an idiot. Like, it is what it is. But those were fun. We also did the 4-hour everything from Iron Man to the first Infinity War review, which is still up there in bits in podcast form if anybody's interested in that. But yeah, no, that was the thing at the time, because I used to do who did I used to do stuff? I did a couple things with NJ. I did a couple of things with Deluxe Man, believe it or not. I did
those are some names.
Some John and Preston stuff before all those guys decided I was a piece of shit. Connor kind of came and went and has contributed to my channel in the past. And then after that,
Basically farted in the elevator and then walked out.
yeah. Well, you interviewed me about how much a couple other people hated me.
I'll be
and I
back in
wanted
1
to get
second.
the point across. But yeah, but no, then it went, and then you kind of dipped for a little bit, and I sort of started shooting the shit with Jake, and I'm like, okay, I need an NXT guy. I got Guapo as a AEW guy. Kristen and I'll do movies, and at that point, it was WWE that wasn't worth talking about. But now, now another company has that throne, so it's fine. Gorilla Strong. In all fairness, Deluxe Man.
It's fine.
What?
It's
Cannot
fine.
shit. I've learned you cannot shit on AEW.
Fair, yeah. Well, you can. It's like the people. It's like the people that it's like the people that tell you you can't shit on Sasha Banks. Well, you can. It's like the people that tell you, oh, you're not allowed.
Physically
to not
might be
like,
physically might be a little bit tricky, but like, yeah, go ahead.
Jesus
got enough
Christ, I
story.
said
She
on
can
my
take a big
balls.
one.
I'm not that old, right? Oh, God.
Oh no.
Are you gonna make it?
I don't know.
Oh no.
Little testicular torsion. I didn't even pay for it. Sorry, that hurt.
The worst fan base I've ever encountered. Oh my god, I've gotten something to group chats with AEW Travelers where they just shit on me after.
We've gotten into some many fights. I literally said Ray Phoenix's best match that I've ever seen in person was in AEW, and the best AEW match was that match. He and Jungle Boy at Grand Slam killed each other, and I am not and never was a Jungle Boy fan. I always thought it was a bit overrated. They chopped and slapped the shit out of each other. They made the crowd hush, and they got on the apron. The chops, they were like immediate purple blister. Like they were battling each other. And it was a great match. And Phoenix he ran around all four ropes at one point like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not like Jungle Boy is going to offer support. He did it on his own balance. And to see that live, it was like, fuck me, I can't get out of bed. You're running across 4 tight ropes and then doing a Hurricane Rana into a power bomb.
It's fucking stupid. It's like, what the hell?
I wake up with an erection. I walk into a door and now I got to go to the hospital. It was like, Jesus Christ.
But you know what kills me though, right? And like obviously, like we if we want to dig up a 5-year-old argument now, we can have the tribalism debate and whatever. What kills me is
you admit it.
I do it enough. It's not exactly new.
Spaz confrontational?
I'm not confrontational. I just tweet it.
That's about as consistent as say his name.
I mean,
you don't think I don't pay attention? Come on now.
I tweet occasionally. I might tweet the odd confrontational or controversial opinion here and there. But here's my point though, right? We can have that argument and we can do it tonight if you want. But the thing that kills me the most is the AEW fans that when you point out something on AEW that you liked, will turn around and tell you that you liked the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Or you're enjoying their thing wrong.
I literally gave it credit for something. I don't remember what it was the other day. I was like, oh my God, I loved, there was some like, I wish I could remember now. I'm very high, a little drunk. Sorry. It's been a long day, long few days. So there was some sequence. I think I even put it out on Twitter and I was like, oh, this is great. And then people were like, oh, but you didn't like the Hangman promo. I'm like, I didn't even talk about anything else. I was just highlighting something that I enjoyed. And they're like, oh, you missed out on the Hangman promo with Swerve. That was real cinema. And I'm like,
okay, no. But here's
fine,
the thing.
but I can't say anything else was good.
every Hangman promo is him bulging his eyes out as much as he possibly can and screaming down the microphone, "Take me seriously! I'm such a badass."
So
I do.
And then they had that awful segment between Willow and goddamn Marina Shafir. Marina almost killed Willow trying to powerbomb her through that table. But that aside, I was complimentary of stuff, and I even went back and was like, no, the promo was good between Hangman. He actually showed a bit of reservation and strength in this one by once Swerve said, no, I deserved it. He couldn't, not acknowledge that, hey, he's sorry. What gets me, I'll
give him credit. That was a cool thing. Like, it's not a story that I'm into, but for the people that are into that story, that's a hinging point for them. So it's credit from a distance.
Has WWE kept Cody Rhodes off any show this year? Absolutely not. He's been the main focus just about of every pay-per-view. Why? Because he's their guy. And AEW is missing that because Moxley's a heel and he's the champion we haven't seen the belt since he choked out Bryan and stole it at Wrestle Dream. You know, we haven't seen the belt since. You kind of forget about the championship, the allure, the prestige, all of it. And then on top of it, it's nothing but heat every week. They're beating down the faces, and no one gets revenge and no one gets their comeuppance. Swerve's going to lose. He's not getting this belt. I know people are thinking Black Power with everything he's saying against Booker T. I'm sorry. Booker's right. Guy's a bitch for the way he talks. So
I missed that one.
Swerve went after Booker T. He went after Booker T because he said that Booker T never said anything about, Vince saying the N-word. And basically he allowed racism in WWE. And Booker T is like, you're only where you are because of me, motherfucker. Like, if I didn't open these doors, there wouldn't be you, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and so on, the Big E's and all. And Booker T is not wrong. You think about the title, he came in as a doomed, marked man. He was so fucked in that goddamn WCW main event against Buff, the stuff. Bagwell.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Right? Because they programmed our brains for the entire course of Nitro to hate WCW. They're vile, disgusting, they're old, they're senile. It's nepotism gone crazy over there. Over here, we're making real stars.
Okay. And if things don't come full circle, who is throwing around those types of accusations now? It's WCW 2.0.
And that's the thing. You're not alone. Tony, and I've talked to Tony about it before too, and I did mention to him, I'm like, you've got to stop with the WCW comparisons. They are not helping you at all whatsoever. And then he goes ahead and tweets about how, we beat WCW Nitro. We lasted longer than them. And I'm like, but they were doing 10 times the numbers you were. We got on April Fool's Day of all things, a goddamn message about how, he's really getting 500 to 600,000 viewers on Max. So they're doing 1.2 million. If they were getting it on Max, they would have reported that week one.
I saw
that whole controversy with JD calling it out. Everyone went at him and shit on him for that.
It's ridiculous.
That's not true at all. I think his old buddy Andrew Baydella tweeted out something regarding him, but not tagging him. It was because they were all trying to say JD's wrong because JD said this.
Are you kidding me? Am I really getting swatted right now? Somebody call the cops?
What?
Wait, seriously?
Look at the fucking... No, I'm just fucking with you. April Fool's, sorry. Oh, God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
No, I've been swatted before.
It is the old YWC.
Jesus, yeah, no shit.
I had to. I wish I had a ring camera when I got swatted because they almost killed my mother, and it was hilarious.
Speaking of the YWC, I know we've got Trekipedia in the chat. I need Trekipedia to use all his power and might. Try to bring some guys over from the Wrestling for Life Network. Get rid of the YWC, bring in the WFU, and it's going to be a good time.
We need to get those guys over here. So I reached out to Wrestling with Regret. I reached out to Top 10. I reached out to Marky D. A few others. Solid Monster. I haven't heard anything back yet. JD and he agreed to talk with me, and I sent him a very lengthy apology because him and I had some shit that never got resolved. And the funny thing is, I never once said one bad word about him. I warned him about his editor. So, not editor, like merch animator. The person he was using just got in trouble for stealing. They used to make these little caricatures of wrestlers. Like Kane would have fire around him and be like, they were called sprites.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about too, because I use them too.
Yeah, so they had the little sprites, the little animated things. But the girl or guy that JD was using was stealing these sprites. Yeah, they were using their best, thief skills to go ahead and steal other people's work and claim it as their own. So what happened was I was warning JD that, hey, listen, the Elite thing they're using, because he was doing JD's Elite, I'm like, that Elite logo is from Call of Duty. And Activision is very litigious. They will come down on you like there's no tomorrow. And I said, so just be careful because they don't care if you're like streaming something with that logo on it. But if you go ahead and exactly, if you have that in your you know, in somewhere in your, you know, for sale in your merchandise,
in your own logo, yeah.
Yeah, then they're gonna fuck you. If you're making money at all, they're like, guess what? It's on now. And I didn't want to see him get fucked. But somehow the show I was on clipped it and edited it in such a way that I was like being vitriolic and hateful. So it didn't exactly get relayed the best way. And I got told to eat fruit and I was a fat ass and all that shit. And he apologized. I did wheel my fat ass to the fridge, but he was cordial about it. And then from there, it just kind of fell to the wayside because the harassment on the other end never stopped. And I had no choice about it. But I still go back and listen to this. I don't know if you guys can hear it, right?
Yep.
Such a classic. Just eating the banana.
Oh yeah, I can't. I'm watching it on the stream, but that is a classic. I remember that so much. That was fun.
Trek, it was me. Don't worry about it, buddy.
So did Solo Monster reach back out? Did you get anyone to respond yet? Or
I thought we all ignored the burp too. That was the best part. I don't know.
I have an announcement to make.
I think you already made it.
Yeah.
Just like I threw an apple and got blocked. I went ahead and I threw a banana then, and that got me blocked too. So it's nice to hear from him again and work things out because I didn't want to have any, you know, negative interactions left behind. But that was funny. You know, it was a perfect moment in time. It's classic.
I applaud you a lot for taking something that could be obviously drama fuel fire and flipping it on its head.
Yeah, I wanted it to be fun. I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want it to be a negative. I wanted people to laugh and move on because I knew I meant well, and it was obviously misconstrued. We're not here to just dwell up past stuff, but it was just so funny. And what I really want to know, like speaking of drama and stuff, who watched SmackDown? Everybody here?
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
So,
I watched Tiffany and Charlotte.
Yes, they actually removed that entire segment. WWE went ahead and scrubbed that entire promo from their YouTube, from their Twitter. And, you know, obviously things were going well. And then all of a sudden, Charlotte kind of hit below the belt. So then Tiffany's like, well, you're 0-3 talking about her divorce. And then Charlotte was like, well, you know, Kaiser's in my DMs. And he basically, right? He posted a great response. Perfect, but
did they start really going at it? Like
you hear at the end here, she was so, you know, you hear Tiffy 0-3, woo! And she's like, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? Like, okay, you cunt, really? That's what you're, so they took down this whole segment. Now you can't get it. And then they uploaded it again, edited heavily. So
I don't know why. I don't get it.
Apparently these two hate each other now. Like there's real bad blood between the two. And
okay. But I mean, I'm not trying to like.
No, I know. I'm with you.
I don't know why they would still edit it though. And for those of you people like, oh, because we want to fuck that. They're all about money, man. That's
exactly like this is great promotion. No, maybe they're doing.
Talking about.
I think they're taking it down to make it seem like, oh shit, these two crossed the line, but it was planned and they want to do this because Triple H tends to do a lot of things with a marketing mindset.
But it was also just bad.
The only thing that makes me think that's not the case and they went off script is because there's quite a few of the female talent that were like, this was not cool. And backstage, they were ripping pissed about it. So.
Over who?
Over Charlotte more than Tiffy because it seemed like Charlotte was the one initially. Charlotte got upset about the crowd chanting Tiffy time.
Hold on. We got a guapo.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
You and Master Ball would work.
Yeah, guapo.
What's going on, guys?
It's the one, the one and only. Oh God, that makes me. Hold on. What do we give him? We'll give him the Lincoln Park treatment.
Hold on. I want to see if I can pull this off. You guys, I'm just looking for something.
You're pull your knob off?
Listen, no, only Jake can do that.
Oh, I could take the. If we get enough donations tonight, I'll take the dentures out. What do you mean we're not taking donations? I gotta fire my fucking goddamn terrible manager and editor. God, Milo, you're fired.
I'm getting paid for this.
No, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and get your lower third. Hey, look, it's Guapo, the one and only. He's got his lower third up there too. Hey, the Guap machine.
Let's dust off a oldie.
You know what? It sounds crazy, but it's like I am naturally a fan of Guapo's because of how badass he was with you on all the podcasts and show reviews. And it's kind of like that parasocial relationship in a way, because I've listened to him for so long. I feel like I know him, even though I don't. It's one of those, like, you know, because you guys made some awesome content together. So I'm really happy to have him here. But also, like I said, my best friend growing up, Justin Gomez, his last, name, he turned into Jake Guapo. So we always called him Guapo, Johnny Handsome, But he was Puerto Rican. He was half Puerto Rican and then half black and Italian. However the fuck it worked. They made delicious food. That's all that matters.
That sounds like an improper fraction.
It really was. Like none of his brother was half black and then a quarter Puerto Rican and Italian. So
I mean,
I love them both. It works somehow.
Guapo, you missed the whole. I was doing the whole history lesson earlier about like how everybody that I was working with kind of disappeared, and then we split off into like me and Jake doing NXT, me and you doing AEW when AEW was worth talking about.
Yeah.
Me and Black Cat doing the movie stuff. You missed that part of the history lesson, but
how do they not have Will Ospreay this Sunday on the paper? That's what I was trying to say before. Like Cody's on every single thing, but Will is not. That's their top talent right now. Oh, it's Kenny. Bullshit.
They do have Will Ospreay.
Doing what?
He's taking on the new guy in the first round of the Owen.
But at the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
I thought that was on Dynamite. You might be right. I might be crazy, but
no, the first round of the Owen, I don't know why I know this. That match is happening, and plus Julia Hart is going to be run over by the Trash a Skank steamroller.
I've only seen pieces of Dynamite, so you might absolutely be right, and I am an idiot, but
you didn't miss much.
I sadly, didn't think so. So Dynasty 2025, let's look. Oh, they did. Okay, Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight, men's Owen Hart, and then they have Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe, and that's the only thing I see. And then the women's side, they have Mercedes taking on Julia. See, the one thing I didn't get last year is why did Mariah May turn on Toni Storm? Like, what was the reason? She won the tournament. She had the title shot. So why turn on her? She didn't gain anything. It never made sense to me. I get why they wanted her to turn heel, but the actual turn made no sense. You already won the tournament. You didn't have to cheat to win. Like, there was no story of her treating Toni badly or no dissension. Like, they were best friends. Everything was great. She won. I'm celebrating. And then she hits her in the head with a fucking stiletto, and that's it. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So Kevin Knight, not related to Saraya Knight, that's a totally different Knight, but this gentleman, he is incredible. So he's very, he's the epitome of athletic. He really has some crazy moves, and I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. But I'm thinking I want to review Dynasty on Sunday, but there's just not a ton to talk about. That's kind of the issue with it. That's a problem. Like Nick Wayne taking on AR Fox in the pre-show. Who gives a shit? Max Caster versus to be announced is the second match.
It's gonna be Anthony Bowens.
It has to be, but Moxley and Swerve. You got Tony taking on Megan Bain. They tried to make Megan look strong here. She's not winning. You got Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball. I think, as you said, Spaz, that's probably the only match I'm looking forward to. They remember to the Death Riders. Yeah, Death Riders have the trios titles. Oh, I forgot they have it.
I forgot they existed. But here's the thing. Jake and I always say this, like when Jake and I are shitting on AEW, I have to give them credit where credit is due as well. Fair enough. I went to Forbidden Door when it was in Toronto because it was in my backyard, and I was like, okay.
It was in your back door, sir.
Never seen them live, and on the other side of the coin, I've never seen any Japanese wrestling in my life. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll go to the show. I wasn't a fan of Kenny Omega at the time, and I wasn't really familiar with Will Ospreay. I turned around and said that whole year that was the best match I was there for.
Oh
live.
yeah, you
And
absolutely were right.
And like I don't get a ton of wrestling in my area, but I get about 5-6 shows a year of some description between WWE, TNA, AEW,
WWE and
Destiny.
TNA have gotten much better about touring outside of the United States, so that's great. I'm very happy with that.
Are you near Maple Leaf with Scott D'Amore's new promotion?
I'm going to be going to Northern Rising.
Oh man, I've seen a couple.
I
of
would
those
kill to be
and,
there, right?
I will be there. I will be there. Here's the thing, and Jake's going to have to put up with me repeating myself quite a bit because I've said this a couple of times.
Go right ahead, my friend. This is just a fun stream to fucking slob my knob.
Whenever I've ever said, because I'm in Brampton, which is near Mississauga, which is near Toronto, right? Whenever I say wrestling's in town, 9 times out of 10, it means I'm going to Toronto for a show. Sometimes it means I'm going to Mississauga for a Destiny show. Check it off your Past Phoenix bucket list. It's fine.
But that's rare, like really rare, you said.
But when I say that TNA is coming to my city and TNA is actually coming to a sports building in Brampton, to the point where the poster doesn't even look right because it has my real city on it.
Right.
So I'll be going to Under Siege. I'll be for TNA and their TV tapings that are happening the following day. I will be going to Maple Leaf Pro Northern Rising, which is actually happening in the old Maple Leaf Gardens.
I think I heard about that. Yeah, I saw a bit of the first show and it looked really like
it was a lot of fun.
Scott D'Amore knows his shit. Clearly, I mean that's kind of like a.
I can tell you, admittedly, like my biggest heartbreak ever, and I'm not trying to just hijack it, but before I forget, I apologize. Was Connor having the OK Fabe sign and him and I being at the same show and I not knowing he was there until I went home and saw him on Raw. I saw you holding up the sign because I went with Danny before that, and then I went on my own to Mass because I was supposed to meet with my Mass hole friend, but I got stood up and I didn't know you were there.
Wait, what show was this?
The one where you had the OK Fabe sign. You were down by the entrance ramp, like you were in the aisleway. Basically,
let's go.
I remember that.
Was that Worcester or was that Springfield?
No, that was Boston.
That was okay, Boston. Yes, because I went to Springfield for SmackDown and then Boston for Raw. I think it or vice versa. It was one of the two.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
and we got to do back to back.
Springfield, or it might have been, I was going to say, or Worcester. Worcester's usually the ones they hit more, which is like a smaller Boston, but shittier and a shit ton more drugs.
This one I remember was Springfield and Boston because they had the one before that was at Mohegan Sun, and it was all around Mania, so it was like building into it.
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, I think it was 2017. But I remember coming home and I'm like, oh, and that's when I used to like DVR Raw, so I'm watching it back and I'm like, oh my, that's and you had that big side. It was perfect. You were on there so many times, and it was just like.
I remember we mentioned. I think you mentioned after. I'm like, motherfucker, and I was just mad at myself, not you, obviously. But
no, but we were like not far off. I was up at the top, but you know what makes me sick is the prices for Mania this year are disgusting.
You want to hear real heartbreak? I actually just saw. That's been something that's been said for like. Ever since the ticket prices got announced, and unfortunately, a lot of us kind of saw it coming with the merger and shit. But someone posted a flyer of the ticket prices for WrestleMania 19, the one in Safeco Field in Seattle.
Yeah,
Hogan, Vince, Austin, Rock last time, Brock and Kurt. Fucking ringside was $400.
Wow. Yeah.
I'll give you.
I'm not looking forward to Mania next year.
What kills me is Liz sent me this guy the other day that went to the same Mania she did. He went to WrestleMania 33.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, exactly. So and you didn't even spend near this much, but he spent $1,100, but he was front row camera side. Row M, seat 1, there.
That kind of seems like right around that feels like kind of
that
right.
feels
like,
right. That feels good to me. Like 1,000. I'm like, yeah, I can because he got the chair, he got the what do you call it? Like it's like a button up polo and all that stuff. Like you got the jersey. Yeah. You got the jersey. You got that really nice jersey that no one else got unless they had those seats. You got the chair, and then you had a great memory. So you had like $300 in merch, and an $1,100 ticket became like $800. when you had fees. That exact same ticket, except wait, 13 rows back is $55.49 this year. Not resale, not like a guy that's reselling it, or not a ticket broker.
Fuck all that.
From
No.
Ticketmaster themselves with the fees, it's $5,549, whatever. The cheapest seats you can get are behind the stage, so you can't see the ring, and you can't see anybody come out either because of the way the stage is set up. You're behind it, and they only let you buy 2 tickets at a time. You can't just buy one. So the 2 tickets and the fees comes to $690, and you see nothing but a screen. Because you have to watch a jumbotron.
Play and see it for $600
right? Like this greed is insane.
How much is that just the tickets being inflated, or how much is that just because it's in fucking Vegas?
No. Well, part of it they're not getting the tourism they thought they were in Vegas. That's a big part of this. So they're not getting anywhere near what they thought they were for tourism. So they've already started to try and lower the seats. The Hulk Hogan package was $10,000 a night. They went to $79, $69. Now it's $5,900.
Jake,
wait. Does that come with the Great American Beer?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we can bring this up on the air, but Jake, check Messenger.
I will. You can bring up anything you want.
You're not the alone in, I guess, getting blocked on Twitter. I didn't do anything.
Oh, really? So you got blocked too now, huh? Oh, you were guilty by association. I'm sorry, my friend. Apparently, anybody that
I told you I like both of y'all. I'm staying
neutral. Yeah, that was the plan. Like I have no ill will towards anyone. I've been very cordial, and I've not said anything. So we'll see if that works. But yeah,
I still supported Joe too. I still went in his streams, but apparently you can't be neutral. But
I guess not. I mean, we try to be.
Ticket prices were fucking nuts.
It's insane. I don't understand how they can get away charging that much, because people want to go, but they're like, oh, well, guess what? People are not spending that much money. And I get it. I really do. I understand why, because it's not worth it at this point in time. Why would you want to spend almost $6,000 to go ahead and go to WrestleMania, unless you have the throwaway, you're really well off and you're like, oh, it doesn't matter to me, then yeah, I get it. But
I guarantee you they are pushing that as an excuse from a business perspective, and their excuse is the product's fucking hot right now, which respectfully it is. But not to push it to the levels of the pricing that they're fucking asking for tickets. It's gonna hopefully it's gonna crash like the fucking housing market's probably gonna crash.
It's not exactly. They're gonna have a crash. They're already pricing out fans that can't go anymore, that usually go every year. And these are the guys from the UK or Australia. I've actually spoken to a group. There was 15 fans. They go every year from Australia. They're like, this year is the first year we can't see. So I'm not full of shit.
I met them at 32.
Exactly. And they're like, this is the first year we can't go because it's going to cost us $82,000 for 7 of them to go. $82,000 to go for 7 people because of the flights from Australia, and then the hotel stay in Vegas for 2 nights. And then most of the majority, he said the tickets for Mania are 2 times the price of the flight in first class from Australia.
Yeah, I'm sadly, I believe that, because the prices are fucking absurd.
82,000 by 7. So you figure everybody's getting like $12,000 a ticket almost. That's insanity. I've never been to Mania. Spaz, at least when you went, like it's like a fever dream at this point, though.
Yeah, no, but what I'll say 2 things, because I want to lean into fairness a little bit, because I agree with you guys, obviously. But if you're talking about people that are coming from the other side of the world, you can harp on WWE for crazy ticket prices. You can't really harp on them for their overall cost being crazy when they're flying from the other side of the world in WWE.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I'm understanding. I'm like, all right, you're spending $8,000, whatever, but 6 of it is your flight. And then 2 of it is your hotel and the tickets. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 3 to 5 times as much though as the flight, and the
Oh, no,
flight
for sure.
is $1,100. He's
Oh
like,
no,
oh,
for sure. This is what I'm saying though. Like take
12
that out,
grand for
'cause
2
I
nights
can't.
is
Yeah,
insane.
I can't
Yeah.
jump because I can't jump on that part of the argument. What I will say is what I've already said to Jake. So once again, Jake, I'm repeating myself on your stream, but I was at WrestleMania 18. I saw Rock Hogan live. I paid $100 for a ticket that was initially
Oh, you did?
60. Right? I paid $100 for a ticket that was initially 60. 23 years later, same building, just as nosebleed a seat for Elimination
Yeah,
Chamber, which was a lot
same.
of fun, by the way. And it was over twice as much.
Yeah, of course.
Although
I'll give you.
I will say that it was a fucking fun show. I'm not gonna lie.
So I'll give you a comparison. I have a lot of fun WrestleMania stories from the
Yeah, you do.
because I have some I've never told too. Nothing too juicy, but some if you're curious. I'll
WrestleMania
later.
After Dark with OK Fabe.
Basically, yeah, I got some fun stuff to talk about. But in comparison, and I'm trying to remember the exact numbers. I was trying to dig through while you guys are talking as far as how much I paid for the Mania. So I went to 32, which was they had just started doing travel packages. They were just starting to do these out. So the idea was that you bundled everything fucking together. I went with 2 friends. You guys may or may not have heard the names. Heel Steven, who still does, I think, wrestling content.
Yeah, no, he's great. Yeah.
Yep, went with Heel Steven, and we went with Matt from In the Rope Show at the time, and he was doing his content. That was a little lesser known channel, but they were.
Yeah,
they
but
were,
yeah,
they were
even
fun.
Trek said, like, my friends at work were like, I saw you on SmackDown. They knew it was me since you just got his haircut. Like, we used to see those awesome moments, and now people are like, I can't afford to go. Like, they want me to pay as much as a down payment on a new vehicle to go to WrestleMania, to go to even Elimination Chamber for great seats were $1,800, not even front row, like 13 to 15 rows back, rows M to all the way to like Q.
Here's the kicker. So the entire travel package for three of us, and we all split it evenly, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is just the package itself. So this is, and just to make sure I got this clear, this was hotel, this was WrestleMania access tickets, so you got to access into the venue. So anything extra that you paid in there, you had to pay for, but you got into the actual venue itself. Then you had NXT Takeover Dallas.
I forgot you got that as well at 32. Yep. You got the Hall of Fame included as well.
Hall of Fame 2016, which Sting was the headliner to be inducted. Obviously WrestleMania 32, and then the Raw after WrestleMania. So all those, including so it was the hotel and tickets for all those things, all there. So obviously no flight, anything else extra, obviously would have been cost extra. But all together for 3 of us, I believe was around $3,600. And as far as where we sat, we were basically, I would say, if you're doing a comparison, like middle of the ring, you have your floor, and then like a regular arena. Then you have like your lodge,
your whole setup.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame, and the Raw was kind of up in those like balcony-esque sections.
But you weren't that high up either. You guys were like mid-tier.
Yeah, we were kind of in the middle. Mania, we were 12th row.
Yeah, you guys had great seat for Mania. I remember there was one point where you're on camera for who was it at 32? Yes, that's what it was. The IC title ladder match, right?
Someone tweet. So it's funny that I had terrible signal there.
Yeah.
So,
what it was, not bad signal. There's so many people that the network dies.
Yeah,
Funny how that works. That's what happens, really. When there's that many people in an area, it dies. It's too much.
Sorry to hijack this with Mania stories, but
we're literally talking about WrestleMania, so you have nothing to be sorry about.
Cool. When we got to the AT&T Stadium, first time they were ever there, right? First time they ever ran Mania. They're pushing for fucking the record. Terrible card. What are you gonna do? We get to the arena and basically
it's still Mania, man. Like
that's basically
there's that other side of the coin.
Listen, between Takeover Dallas, the Hall of Fame, and then I had a WrestleCon experience like a fucking wet dream. I was happy as a pig in shit. But when we got to the stadium, the scanners they used to scan the tickets was based off of a Wi-Fi signal. That Wi-Fi signal completely fucking crashed. So we were stuck outside in the blistering Dallas heat for like 3 to 4 hours more than we actually missed.
It was a while. Yeah, you guys were like out there for a bit. I remember.
That's the one where is that the one where nobody got in, and then they had there was a weird kickoff match, and I think it was something.
No, that was SummerSlam 2017, but I was there for that one too. I went to that one. That was in Brooklyn.
There was a WrestleMania because it's the only.
Well, then that might have been actually. You know what? That might have been it then because we missed. It
was Ryback versus one of the Lucha
Kalisto.
House Party. Yes,
it was Kalisto and Ryback for the U.S. title, and I was actually. It's funny. I was fucking so pissed, just in general about the whole fucking the whole thing. And I remember Stephen. There's 2 pre-show matches. It was Dudley's versus Usos, I think, in a tables match. They announced the arrival of a women's championship instead of getting rid of the fucking Divas title. And then I said I only want to watch the Ryback Kalisto match because it's a fucking title match. That's the only fucking reason I gave a shit. And we were watching.
Why else would you give a damn? I don't mean it rudely, but like, what else was there to care about?
That's kind of where my head was at. So I'm like, all right, fuck, I just want to see the title match. Like, really see that. So we're still like just trudging along and trying to get to our fucking seats. And I felt bad because I don't get angry often, but like Steven pointed out like on one of like the screens as we're trying to like we're watching the pay-per-view as we're trying to get to our fucking seats, and he's like jokingly pointing up. He's like, "Hey, look, man, the title match." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like I was just pissed off. He's like, "Look, man, this is the title match." He's like, "Fuck!" Oh, just
yeah. He's like, "Fuck you." Jordan in the chat agrees. He's like, "Fuck you" right there because I should be seeing this. Yeah, it was the IC title ladder match that kicked off, I believe, and they were like ready to go, and then all of a sudden it was just like, "Oh, they haven't let half the people in, but we're gonna start now."
We just got there as the right before the pyro went off.
Yeah.
Hold on. Pause. Guapo, are you in the chat and on your phone?
Maybe.
He is multitasking like a motherfucker, right?
It's fine to double dip.
This is gonna be like the old. This is gonna be like the old drunk Guapo live streams, isn't it?
I was told to bring alcohol to the.
He was. That's right, my friend. Indeed, he was. I absolutely cannot respect Guapo more for following the rules. Goddamn, thank you, sir.
Guapo, friend to friend, buddy to buddy. There's nobody else here. Shh, just between you and me. You're wearing the mask right now, aren't you?
I'm not. But
I am.
I can make it happen.
Hey, it's not a lucha mask, it's a gimp mask, but that was my personal preference. No, Guapo, what I want to know is, did you hear on SmackDown this Tiffany and Charlotte promo?
You mean Tiffany calling Charlotte a useless piece of whatever because she super monarchies together?
I mean, WWE took it down entirely. I was shocked that they did so because it felt like it was a planned thing for both of them to say, but apparently they hate each other, and backstage was brutal. Apparently, when they got backstage, they were jaw-jacking at each other like, fuck you, no fuck you, like that kind of back and forth thing. I believe it. Yeah, really. I mean, how could you not at that point? So, goddamn, but even WrestleZone said, we haven't seen Kairi Sane in forever, so she's supposed to come back soon. But they're saying that
Kairi Sane and JD McDonough are expected back soon.
Yeah,
JD
which is great.
JD stuck a rib through his lung. How is he coming back this quick?
I don't know. They said there was no altercations backstage between the two, but they did have like that jaw-jacking moment. And some felt that Stratton had to push back at the segment to hold her ground. So I guess the week before, when they had that online face-to-face that was supposed to be the interview, Charlotte went ahead and got one of the writers to tell her what Tiffany was going to say. So she had the perfect rebuttals, and it threw Tiffany off because she wasn't following the script. And that has been reported multiple times. Fightful, PW Insider, all these reliable sources have said that Charlotte
got the mask on.
Right?
Just notice now.
I love it. Yes, hold on, we gotta make that full screen. Fucking A, right, Guapo. Yeah, buddy. That's what I want to see.
I'm team. If I didn't hear about that whole thing before. About
to you, my friend Sir Guap. That's right.
You know what,
absolutely.
I'm Team Tiff then. If that's the fucking case. If that's true,
that is
Charlotte did that. Fuck her.
So Charlotte got reported as absolutely using her power to find out what Tiffany was going to say, and then she altered her content to go ahead and catch Tiffany off guard. Because if you listen to that interview, in that mindset, Tiffany Stratton cannot follow up because she was like, well, fuck, you got my number. How did you know what I was going to say? It was supposed to be a natural tit for tat that both sides were not going to be aware of what the other said, but... And now, backstage, there was no altercation, but they said after this recent promo aired, performers mentioned that Charlotte is calling audibles unfairly, and they felt that Tiffany had to push back to hold her own. That's why she mentioned the 0-3. I don't give it. Yeah, fucking A right. We got Trekopedia here too. Holy shit, what a fucking stream. Woo!
Because WWE loves Charlotte, so they're going to take Charlotte's side over Tiffany. So.
Sadly, Guap, what do you think of all this mess? That's what I want to know.
There's not enough lucha. That's simply what it is.
You're not wrong, my friend. There isn't. Ray Phoenix pulled off some incredible moments, though. His debut could not have been better showcased. Nathan Frazier did a great job of kicking out of the offense, but not needing to squash him in return. He just kept taking offense and then was like, oh, I'm just going to keep kicking out. I'm resilient. But he put Ray over in such a great big way. They had that one moment where there's a transition where Ray did like a springboard flip into a Hurricane Rana. And because they kept going into each other's face. So Ray was Frazier was running the ropes like, I'm faster than you, and kept cutting him off. And then Ray flips in front of him and doesn't hurt. It was so perfectly executed. I'm like, he's running along the ropes. He made it all look so effortless. I'm like, damn. Spaz made an amazing point, though. We get 3 major pops for this. We got the, obviously, Penta pop when he debuted and all he's done so far. Ray Phoenix is going to have pyro in his entrance. They had no pyro at this show in Chicago. Apparently something with the arena doesn't allow that type of pyro. WWE switched, though, recently to cold pyro. I guess it's like a cold spark. So it's not hot. It doesn't burn you. It's a cold spark when it goes off. And it's a different type.
In the immortal words of Hulk Hogan, it's not hot.
Well, they avoid having, even with the flames that come up, I guess they avoid, there we go. They avoid having any of that happen now. Since The Undertaker got burnt, they didn't want to have, so they're using cold sparks. However it works, they have these cold pyro, and they add the concussion blast via audio afterwards. They add that in like manually via audio.
It's like fucking Power Rangers.
It's crazy what they do, but how they do it now, they're explaining it, and the pyro display basically is done with cold pyro.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really impressive though.
Very chilled.
I don't think that would work for Batista's entrance, though.
I'm trying to pull it up on Google because Chrome is not the place. He had the best pyro out of anybody. Out of everybody I've ever seen live, he genuinely had the biggest, like, heartfelt, like, with the machine gun explosion. It was incredible.
I would say, even though you're not allowed to talk about him anymore, the one that Lesnar, when he did the jump up onto the apron thing and he pulled back on the ropes.
Yeah, he did it towards like the end. Yeah,
he was busting into midair. But I do have a question for my buddy Guapo because it's been so long and I haven't talked to you in a long time, buddy. And I love you and I miss you.
Yes, my friend.
We got Ray Phoenix.
Yeah.
We got Penta.
Yeah.
We got Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
We got Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
We got El Grande Americano.
Sort of.
Legend.
Allegedly.
Are they finally, in with all the other ways that WWE is kicking everybody else's ass, have they finally achieved peak good lucha things?
Once Penta has the world title, yes.
I mean, he's getting the IC. Okay, I'll throw this out to the group then. Penta's taking the IC title at Mania, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't see how he doesn't capture it. I guess Ray is eventually going to capture the U.S. title from Jacob Fatu, and that's when we're going to see an interaction between U.S. and IC champs. Apparently, they want them two to face off at like Survivor Series. That's the goal. From what I heard, I don't know if it's going to stick by then, but maybe sooner, maybe SummerSlam. From what I heard, they want these two to both have titles where they face off champion versus champion, and then it leads to them eventually both losing titles, and then who they lose to is a team, so that they go and face that team for the tag titles. Like that's the goal.
That's a lot of long-term planning. And you know what's funny? I would normally call bullshit, but the new regime is so fucking different, and they are so forward-thinking.
Triple H has everything booked out with a lot of far in advance. Like apparently, people were saying the John Cena heel turn. Oh, it doesn't make it. It was essentially spoiled to us with The Rock doing the 1, 2, 3. I mean, he gave it away back in October. This was not a quick plan. They had this in the works. Cena said. Since almost a year out.
It's fine because the real main event is happening on Saturday anyway.
Oi, oi, oi.
Anybody want to fight me on that one?
It sucks that Julia is injured because Stephanie Vacour, Julia was supposed to be like their top star and Stephanie was supposed to be this developing talent. It flipped. Not just because of injury either. Stephanie is
WrestleMania night 1, but okay.
No, I'm saying Stephanie Vacour is going to be like the main event of that first night. I have a feeling they're going to put on such a great match. Jordan Grace, Jada Parker, if they do a triple threat or even one-on-one, no matter what, that's going to steal the show. Absolutely. I'm so excited for Stand and Deliver. Oi.
You do make an excellent point. If there's one thing that this WrestleMania build this year really needs, it's another triple threat.
Right?
You know what? I think the only way to levy that is to make a third night.
But to be fair,
isn't that what Raw is for? I mean, we're still getting people to Raw after Mania. It seems like we'll get Black and Rusev Raw after Mania, right?
Rusev's fine.
And Aleister Black.
I'm still sticking with the idea that they're going to send Randy Orton out there at WrestleMania with a surprise opponent. It's going to be Aleister Black. I think that's going to be...
The crowd would pop so big.
I'd be okay with it.
I want to know, how do you guys feel about the favor being, I want Paul Heyman in my corner? Are you disappointed? I predicted it. I love it. I mean, I don't think Paul Heyman had an option to turn it into a number one contender against Cena and Cody. Like, he didn't have that power. So this works perfect. He gets under the skin of Roman. But like you said, Spaz, I'll give you a fuck ton of credit here. I didn't even think of it being an option. But what do you think's going to happen?
What do I think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Paul Heyman walks away from Roman Reigns, walks into WrestleMania in the corner of CM Punk, and walks out raising Seth Rollins' hand. Because the great manipulator of Seth Rollins says, look, man, look where you got CM Punk to. Look where you got Roman Reigns to, and now they're fighting over you like a piece of meat. Why don't you come with me and be victorious with me?
I guess I could see that happening. And the getting into the night 2 main event never made sense because wouldn't The Rock just overturn that immediately? Because why would The Rock allow CM Punk to get involved in his?
Exactly, it didn't make sense, and that was a problem because everyone is expecting this favor to be something massive, and really, it's just like, all right, this is what we're going for, you know, and I get it. It's not a bad thing. It's just not what people were expecting, sadly.
I agree with that as well. But then if you really want to, and I'm not accusing anybody here of nitpicking, but if you want to be nitpicky about it, you could say, why does Paul Heyman have the authority to decide what's the main event on night 1?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're going to pretend that he has that power, like, you can decide how much that power is.
But they didn't though. They made it clear as day that like Roman made it happen.
Yeah, Roman was the one that made this a main event. He made this.
He insinuated that it was his influence that did it because he's like, he literally Punk thanked him for it.
Probably so.
And that's the thing. It really was Roman like taking over.
Or is it Roman saving face and wanting to assume that it was his star power that got that done because he doesn't like the fact that these deals are happening with his main advisor and one of his opponents?
I think you're digging a little too deep into the well on that one. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah. You're on the right assumption, I feel like, honestly.
Well, this is the thing, like Connor, as you said a second ago, and we all get accused of being Triple H dick riders these days, but 5 years ago. Oh my god! Ride his nose, it'll probably get. Anyway, never mind. But no, like 5, 4, even 3
Hold
years
his
ago,
nose in it like a bad dog. Just hold him down. Is this what
Get
you
out the
want for
newspaper.
Mania? Is this what you want for Mania? You fucking.
You smell that Sin Cara. You smell it.
Oh no.
Well, there is differences though because night one main event doesn't involve anything with Rock and Cena, so why would The Rock give a shit? Getting into the night two main event, The Rock
Hold
would
on. Fuck you guys. I'm sorry. Sin Cara.
get pissed because that decreases John Cena's chances of winning, and The Rock wants John Cena to win, right? So
I agree. I think I just triggered something.
Oh
in Jake
God,
about
yeah,
Sin
Sin Cara. I remember. Oh, he would. Oh, I broke my thumb. Fuck. Meanwhile, people are paralyzed from the neck down, still wrestling. Stone Cold manages to roll up Owen Hart. This guy breaks his fucking finger, and he's like, "No, I'm done."
different
Fuck
age.
you, I'm out.
What?
Oh,
Vince
I
is-
still
Vince is
laugh at that.
lucky.
I'm sorry. It's so good, but continue. Trek, what's going on, bud? Glad to have you here too.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Oh,
I saw the Charlotte Flair stuff before they pulled it down. I saw I dropped her name in here. Denise Salcido's reaction was priceless to that. That was funny.
what did she do? That's what I'm curious of.
She was like, she goes, oh shit, she brought up her divorces, and then she goes, wait a minute, she brought up Kaiser? What the hell? I just sitting
It
there
didn't
laughing,
make
like,
sense because, oh, Kaiser's in my DMs. Yeah, because if I had Tiffany Stratton, I'm going to go after Charlotte. I want the older
Just
model with
Kaiser's
more
little reaction
miles
on
on it. I want the
I mean,
older
if-
model with more
if one-
miles and more wear and tear. Yeah, thank you. Fuck you,
dog.
bitch. Like, come on.
More experience brings better skills.
Tiffany's not even like the most beautiful diva out there, but she's gorgeous, obviously, and
She's up there, man. But
absolutely, she's
not
top
my-
tier talent. But she's also such a great talent on the mic, in the ring.
yeah.
She's believable. She has her strengths, and she's still learning and growing.
see,
Charlotte
okay,
did
here,
nothing
I
but
was-
try to embarrass her because of her nepotism fucking ways.
Okay, I was
And her
no,
old number.
I was gonna the character stuff is good. I was gonna pull you up on that, and then I think you pulled it back a little bit.
I
I'm not
reined
talking
it
about
in.
last- I'm not talking about where last week when Charlotte Flair kind of tried to eat her lunch a little bit, but I will say,
Yeah.
promo wise, she's awesome sometimes, and sometimes she's taking a long walk down a street with no end in it. The thing with Charlotte
That happens to a lot of people too, absolutely, but I get your point.
Okay. It's like Jericho's always awesome, and then he has like one bad match, and everybody picks on the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? With Jericho, that's a different set of parameters and
take
horns.
Bandito's-
But
He's gonna take Bandito's mask tomorrow night.
that child making fun of him, that like 8-year-old boy showing his abs and being like, "Fuck you," that's what that means. That was
I
great.
just saw this clip of Jericho on Twitter saying
Loved
he would
it.
consider going back to WWE.
Of course he would, because he wants the fucking money. He knows that's where it's at, and if he made himself a bidding war, he would get money.
Yep.
People have interest in Jericho still. He in AEW, they have him as a Ring of Honor champion. If he's not your main champion, then he should be at least like in your main company. You have him in Ring of Honor.
I have
No, see,
That's
the
that's where
problem.
people
They
should
have-
be
they have him-
advancing and learning and growing. Like
No,
not.
but that's the problem. They don't. They
Here's the
don't have-
learning tree.
That's the problem is they don't have Jericho in Ring of Honor. They have Jericho in AEW holding on to the run of Ring.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Yeah,
other
you nailed
other
it.
Other than another main champion that we could talk about, at least we see the belt.
Because how long has it been since Wrestle Dream, right? When Brian
Since
got
what?
choked out with the bag, we have not seen that title.
I'm gonna just state this real quick.
Go
I
for it.
do not give a fuck about AEW.
But we're all in the same boat.
That last night.
Spaz and I are in the same boat, Connor. That's the problem, Mr. OKFabe, is that we've tried for years to hold on. I used to go to shows. Tony would, I'm not exaggerating, I can show the DMs. What happened was Tony got blamed for copyright takedowning a channel on YouTube because they said some like hypercritical stuff. And Tony proved to me like that's not the case. This guy is lying for attention. He showed me their entire like copyright notices. Nothing was there. Like he made sure to prove it was plausible that this was not the truth at all.
Yep.
So the guy was looking for attention. And then Tony and I became friendly. He invited me to Grand Slam twice, like all this stuff. I want to have an interest in AEW. I've always admitted that I had a little bit of a bias because, like, hey, the billionaire boss, here I am scrounging for change and he's got $1 billion. You know, like, what a weird dichotomy between relationships and real life. But he was cordial enough to answer these texts. And I'd be like, oh, my daughter's not doing great. He's like, all right, let's get you guys to a show. We'll make you feel better. We're going to bring you up in emotion. We're going to make it positive. Like, he was a really nice, genuine guy. Like, that was him. And that's the thing. He always wants to do the right thing. The problem is that I've seen it firsthand, and I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. He has too much of that I care because he has so many different people coming to him. I don't want to say who, but a lot of people don't want to lose, especially Moxley. Moxley said, I can't just lose to Punk. And that was why they went with the Rocky 3 scenario.
Yeah, I remember the whole thing.
Tony gets put into those situations a lot right now where a lot of wrestlers are like, oh, I don't want to lose. And he's got this whole story written. And he's like, what do you mean you don't want to lose? What do I do now? So now the Death Riders have to keep winning, and there's more to it, but it doesn't line up to the vision that Tony had, and he doesn't have the, I don't want to say balls, that's not it, but he doesn't have the drive. No, drive isn't even the right word either.
He's complacent.
Exactly, and he doesn't have the intention to shake the boat. He doesn't want to make people upset if he doesn't have to.
There's no need to.
Exactly. So he's going to agree and go with it and go through the motions. But the problem is the product has suffered greatly. There is not, and I don't mean this with any vitriol whatsoever. I genuinely mean it. I looked in the Dynamite. There is not one match that makes me like, oh, I have to tune in to see what happens. I want to see the Speedball, Mike Bailey, Ricochet, and Kenny Omega match. But for the match sake, not because of the story, just because they're going to have a great triple threat.
Which is kind of what I've heard generally in terms of AEW. So I did like a cold turkey fucking hard cutoff of wrestling content and watching wrestling when I quit because I was fucking fried.
You were burnt out so bad.
It was bad. There's a ton of other things going on, but like it was COVID, the product wasn't good. And then like AEW's adding more shit on top of that. I'm like, I fucking just can't. I still watch WWE's product a little bit more religiously. I do not watch anything AEW outside of anything that's on my fucking Twitter X feed.
AEW was really good about like making you feel like you missed out on something too. They put in that like FIFO, the fear of fighting, like, oh, I missed this, I missed it with something with Sting. And they tried to make you have initially for the first year, like this, oh my God, I can't not tune in. But then they lost their way and it just became repeats.
The Punk shit was crazy, obviously. With the whole exit and all that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to point fingers in which way or any direction. Just in general, the whole situation was bad. I know you will. The whole thing was bad shit crazy. He leaves. And I'll just be very honest. There is nothing there for me as a fan. I'm not saying that there's not good wrestlers there. They don't have great matches. I've seen stuff here and there. And again, I don't watch it religiously anymore. But as far as an outside perspective, aside of a couple of things, I really don't have a whole hell of a lot of interest. There are wrestlers there that I'm interested in. There are characters in there and the matchups that I might have a little bit intrigue of, but it's a very passing, fleeting thing just every so often. They did the whole cycle of fucking a ton of ex-WWE guys come, and now the tide is shifting in the other direction back to WWE because they're on fire right now with their product, even though it's not perfect, but it's much better, obviously, than what we had from the good old days, pal. But
this is the thing, right? Like, and I kind of want to piggyback on what Connor's saying a little bit here. If you want to boil it down, and I'm not saying there's not good talent there now. Every week, like Jake and I have started recording on a Wednesday now because if I get into Dynamite late, it's no big deal, right? But like, there's usually something there. Like, Athena is finally being used on the main roster. I'm really happy for her. I'll like a Will Ospreay match. I'll like a Darby Allin match.
Yep.
For my sins, once upon a time, I gave a shit about Edge and Ambrose, but it is what it is. My problem is, like I said before, like the culture that company has created is...
They don't know what they want to do.
No, they don't. It's not that they don't know what they want to do. If you are a
I
person
disagree.
from the outside. If you are a person, well, no, it's not the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
They make it hard for you to try to give them a chance. If I say I like something, like
that's true. Yeah, that's actually a good point.
shoot me, but I like Jericho, and I like how much Jericho winds people up. And I like how, oh,
Yeah.
not somebody, it's that old like racist man on the lawn. That somebody like that is not supposed to be here.
But you
Like,
showed right here,
I
Vengeance
find
Day,
that-
we got 3,000 fans. We got, the Royal Rumble 70,000. If you look at AEW with Dynasty, it's 16,000. Grand Slam 12,000. Revolution 11,000. They're nowhere near even what TNA is putting up in numbers. Never mind
Yeah,
Elimination Chamber at 38,000 and the Rumble at 70,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're looking at purely business perspective, that's another flip of the coin too. That's a whole nother like side of this whole of this whole thing that's not good at all. And I think that I hope to think that from what I've seen, they're starting to do smaller venues, which is fucking smart for a shit ton of reasons.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
give them so much credit for that. I really did because what's it called NXT. Like I'm the NXT guy, and I just saw now Jake's got my my spreadsheet up on the screen there. That's awesome.
You spread a cheat?
I spread all kinds of things in my sheets.
Exactly. Hey, I spread it all the way over, bud. But no. I had you completely credited, but you're spot on. And that's the thing. We've tried repeatedly to like defend AEW, and it almost feels like we're disingenuous when we're like, hey, these guys did really well because they acknowledged they had to go from the Dodger Stadium to the Intuit Dome. Like they can't do 70,000, but they can do 8,000. All right. Yeah. But then they didn't even do the 8. They did 2. And it sounds like one.
When NXT did their rebrand out of the 2.0 era, thank fucking God.
Yes.
And then when they finally went from that to black and silver version like we had now, and they tried to do the 2 on the road shows. They did the one in Chicago and they did one somewhere else. And the Chicago show sold. The St. Louis, was it St. Louis?
I believe so. St. Louis was the one after that.
And they immediately, when they saw that one wasn't selling, they immediately went to a smaller venue. And when they've gone on the road, and I love that they're finally an on the road brand. Smart. They've gone to smaller venues. They've gone to more interesting venues, which is the bigger thing. I think the thing with TNA, the deal that they have with TNA helps, because if anybody can help you find a small but interesting venue, it's the people at TNA, because they always run small and interesting venues, right?
Exactly. And they help promote their talent. They actually go above and beyond to be like, hey, let's get you guys out there and let's get you in front of these people. TNA has multiplied the viewership of NXT by a good 1.2%. Like, you're like, oh, that's not massive. That's almost 16,000 viewers per every 15 minutes that they're gaining. 16, 32, 48, 64. Like, it just keeps building. They don't get that.
And separately
that's almost 300,000 viewers a night, Spaz, that NXT is adding in the long run.
I don't think people understand the importance of or the weight and gravity of I'm not saying that it's like the biggest fucking deal in the world.
No, but the streaming network and how it works.
The TNA relationship deal is a pretty important, I will say right now. Like, it's a pretty.
It's very massive, huge momentum.
But Jake and I have bragged about it quite a bit, because quite a bit of what we do on State of Wrestling is NXT focused. But it is a matter of, in general, WWE is a company that doesn't say no anymore. They're sending people to Noah. They're sending people to Bloodsport. They're sending people like
GTW.
Yep. But where I was going with the NXT example, right, is like, okay, they're not selling out huge buildings. They're finding these weird, interesting buildings that are fun to talk about. They've got these really high, intense, like cauldron type crowds, especially when they did like the ECW arena. That was a lot of fun. Now
we have one over here, the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. It's where Shawn Michaels lost his smile.
Exactly, and he didn't. I was not there in person for the WrestleMania, like the public workout for WrestleMania 14. I was one of the ones. Remember, they had like a shuttle bus that was bringing people. I was one of the ones at like the offset trying to get to there to get on, and there was just too many people, so I missed that waiting. I'll never forget. My grandmother took me all the way to Boston, and you know what? That day they had talent stay there for hours to sign shit. I remember my birthday in the year 2000. I went to a local ECW reunion show, and the main event was supposed to be Tommy Dreamer versus Justin Credible. Justin Credible was way too drunk to perform and couldn't come out. So they had Sabu end up showing up and take the main event. And that's when Sabu had his hip injury. So, like, he wasn't Sabu. He was limping, trying, but he tried. He did what he could. He tried to give the audience his all. And we applauded him. And he went out there in massive pain and killed himself for our enjoyment. Everybody gave him a standing ovation. But I was 12 years old at the time. So I remember I went up. I didn't know that you had to pay for autographs. I'm like, oh, you bought tickets to the show. I thought it all came with it. I got in line for Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. Because they were about to go. They didn't go through the table. I was at the show where Dudley put them through the table with Mae Young. But because that was in Springfield or Boston, one of the two, I got to go in Mass. But it was such a fun moment. And I told the girls, I'm like, oh, I didn't know you had to pay extra. I'm so sorry. It's my birthday. We're here for that. And like, oh, it's your birthday. And they both signed my Taz shirt that I had because he had just joined the Royal Rumble for WWE. Mm-hmm. If you remember, he took on Kurt Angle. I had that original like 13 shirt. I have it upstairs somewhere, but I have May and Moolah's autograph on it. And they signed it for free, just being like, oh, you're a cool kid. Like, yeah, all right. You don't have money. It's your birthday. Let's give you something. And they were so cool.
Just think of the long line you were in. Think about how many men over the years have lined up for Moolah and Mae Young.
Oh, it was like a 2-hour wait too. It was beyond sold out. And my dumbass gets all the way to the front, and I was like, oh, I don't have any money. I thought it was free. And the two girls were like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, it's my birthday. My neighbor took me, and they're like, just come here. We'll sign something for you. What do you want to sign? I'm like, oh, my shirt. And I had the Taz shirt on, and they signed it for me. And they were so nice. And May told me, she's like, you know what's funny? I tell the boys to hit me hard, and they still hit me less hard than they hit the girls. They're a bunch of pussies. And it just
May was very
that line at like 12 years old stuck with me so long. She's like, because I asked her, I'm like, how did it feel to get put through a table? And recently at this age, and she's like, I'll tell you, those boys, I tell them to hit me as hard as they can. They still won't do it. They're a bunch of pussies. That stood with me. Nice. I'm 37. I'm going to be 38. That line sticks with me. The boys are a bunch of pussies. Apparently, she used to go to them and be like, listen, I want you to lay it in or I'm not going to respect you. If you don't make it look like you killed me.
I was going to say, Bully Ray's talked about that in interviews. Like,
yeah, he's like,
I was there in Springfield the night she put Triple H. Triple H came back from his quad injury, and there was also the night that we had her go through the table. And I'm telling you, the fucking response you got from that, my ears were deaf. They cheered for Triple H too, no doubt. But that Mae Young to the table spot, they were like, "Oh my god, you killed her." May didn't give a shit. She told Shamrock to belly to bottom slam her, and he did. And she was like, "I almost shit my pants."
So I remember.
Oh god,
I think it was JBL or somebody like. Or something like that, like JBL overheard, or there's some bit with Mae Young about that, where like she was gonna get the shit kicked. Oh no, fucking stupid. JBL clotheslined her.
Yes,
and he's like, May, I like, he's like trying to, and he's telling the story on an interview. He's like, I'm beating around the bush, but I'm basically trying, like, because we all know how tough she is, so I'm trying to beat around the bush. I'm like, I don't know how to fucking approach this with her, where it's like I'm gonna kill you, like it's gonna come,
it's gonna hurt,
like genuinely, and he's like, out of genuine care for this woman, like I know she's tough as nails, but like the human being in me still needs to like actually give a shit, and like
I can't destroy Mae Young. Yeah, exactly. And Moolah, she said, apparently didn't give two shits so long as she got paid. And May was like, I want to make it look believable. So she told Kurt that night, she's like, listen, if you do not make this look believable when you belly to belly me, she's like, I'm going to bury you and you'll never be champion. Because I guess he came to her very nervous as he was still green. Yeah. People don't realize in 2000, 2001 that Kurt Angle was so green. He had no training at all, hardly. They basically were like, here's a drop down leapfrog takeover, and you're going to do an Angle slam. There you go. Figure the rest out. I love hearing the story about Stephanie talking about how he was unconscious for the triple threat match, and what was it, like Unforgiven or whatever? And she's like, "Oh, we just let him through the motions because he had no idea. He got knocked out. He had no idea what he was doing."
Oh, he whipped through the table.
Yeah, he got his head hit on the table and got a concussion. And she's like, "We just brought him out there. We're like, do this, do that."
Kurt, I think is just starting to get the credit for.
Yeah.
I go back now and you think about like his actual career, and I know we're fucking going off of fucking wild tangents, but
that's the point. That's what we're here for, my friend. That's what Into Somewhere is all about.
If you think about
that's why we're all about bring it up and let's do it.
Coming off of the Olympics, coming off of Olympic gold
but
medal,
hopefully, we figure it out and everybody just continues to.
Have fun.
I swear my headphones just die randomly. They're like, by the way, we don't want to go ahead and let you work anymore, but let's see if these want to turn back on for me.
Echo.
Yeah,
I may need to plug them in.
Yeah, he
streaming nightmare.
He's just getting.
That's a lot of empties. Oh Jesus! All right, hold on, guys. I lost connection because the battery died. Hey, now I can hear you. Sorry, my headphones died. I'm like, everybody got really quiet all of a sudden, and I'm gonna blame the empties on that one. But sorry. So there was one stream where I had no idea that the headphones died, and I'm trying to give the outro, and I'm trying to promote Liz's Twitch channel, and she's playing this Japanese game. So all you hear is, "Oh, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, guys, have a great night. Thank you." And I'm like,
well, that was like,
all right,
that was like JP last night.
Yeah.
So real surprised somebody didn't flag that as offensive.
Oh, shit.
The night is still young, and you're so beautiful, Spaz.
I'll end this quick story real fast because I'm gonna hop off for the evening. Speaking of following like crazy streams, I did one with Heel Steven, and this was back in the Skype days. And
hey, some of us are still on Skype.
Yeah, for all of what, 10 days?
Skype's still running strong till May.
Till May.
Oh, okay. Fucking
it's
okay.
gonna be May.
Fuck off. Steven did a stream, and this was back when like we were just figuring out like how to do things and how the technical side of things work. Like we were just figuring things out. So Steven's hosting the stream on his channel.
Yes.
And he falls asleep. And I don't mean like he's like off camera and like you can quiet him. He's in his chair, head back, full mouth, the whole like you can like the fucking whole thing. And
the whole I've done that once.
Gimmick.
We're calling him. We're doing every fucking thing imaginable that we can do to wake him up. And so we basically said at that point, I'm like, well, the only thing we can do is like end the stream and like, hope that maybe that'll, if we hang up the call, maybe that'll end the stream, or I don't know how his setup was or whatnot. And we were like, all right, let's do it. Nope. His stream kept going for I think it was like 6.5 hours.
Oh my god.
Sleeping the whole fucking time.
So the worst I ever had was I was trying to help my former co-host raise money. He was having problems with his mortgage payment and whatnot. Yeah, everything in life. So I was like, let's do this. My buddy Patrick,
come out of nowhere.
He goes ahead and he developed 2 550 milligrams bars of chocolate. Instead of being like a big bar you got to eat, it was very small. They compacted all the weed flavor into these tiny edibles. So I was like, oh, for every massive donation, I'll eat like squares of it. And D. Welsh is like, how much for the full bar? And I jokingly said like, oh, it'll be like 500. So he's like, here's $1,000, eat 2 of them. And I was like,
yep.
1, 2, carry a few, 49, 100. I got this. I can swallow it. No problem. I got a good tolerance.
Pause.
Do you guys know the meaning of life is a pink Barbie Jeep? They're like, I was so fucked. So I'm trying to stream, and Welsh is like, you got this. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? He's like, I'm texting you. I'm like, stop yelling at me. I was so fucked. It wasn't just weed brownies. So what happened was don't worry about the sneeze. My buddy that I had gotten the weed brownies, which they weren't brownies, they were chocolates, I should say, from. He had 2 bags. One was weed chocolates, and the other one were weed and mushroom chocolates.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, that's
But they were all ground down, so they were both in bar form, so you couldn't tell the difference. Like even tasting them, like it just tasted like weed and cookies and cream.
Yeah.
So when I ate the 2 bars, I had consumed about a 1/4 ounce of mushrooms,
Oh,
not knowing. So I'm on the stream with Joe, and I'm like licking the microphone. I'm like, oh my goodness. He's like, what do you do? I'm like, it just tastes like schnozberries. Like, I don't know how I survived, what I made it through, but I embarrassed everybody. But D. Welsh was the culprit for that one. I remember looking at the wall one time, and I'm like, it's melting. Like, just losing my shit.
We got to repeat that, but I gotta hop off for the evening. But you guys have a awesome night, and we're definitely I'll be back for more for sure.
Absolutely. I am so thankful to have the return of OKFabe here. Connor, I love you. I missed you. I'm terrible at keeping in touch, but I'm so glad to have you here.
No apologies needed. No apologies needed.
I love you, bud. I'm so glad to have you here. Mania is going to be wild. We have this, I tentatively have this crazy schedule that everybody's going to jump into. So, Connor, I'll let you go, my friend, but thank you so fucking much.
Next week, I think we're cranking out one podcast on my side. Everything else is in Jake's lap.
Well, we're gonna do a fair amount on your side. You and I are gonna have a very extensive preview of WrestleMania. But on my side, we're gonna try and feature as many people as we can. We're gonna have our WrestleMania predictions. We're gonna have fun with it. You and I will get into the nitty gritty and the details, Spaz, for people that really want to know why we think each match is gonna be what it is. But we have a fairly big and pretty wild streaming schedule coming up. So if you guys want to go ahead and join in anything, I know Kayfabe is going to be there. Connor's going to be there. That's right. I'm so excited. And then, of course, Spaz Phoenix. Sir Kayfabe, I love you, bud. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad the family's doing well. And I hope you know how much I missed you. I can't say it enough. That's honest to God the best. So thank you, sir, and I hope you have a great night.
Jake's gonna be out here singing "If You Must Go,
If You Must Leave."
I give you love.
Jake and a Hoagie is returning for that very specific reason, you know, and basically it's going to go like this. So on the 10th, this upcoming week, we've got Raw, we've got NXT. Tuesday will be live for Into Somewhere Weekly. Myself and Cody will break down SmackDown, Raw. We'll talk about all the news heading into Mania. On the 10th, we have Spaz's super ultimate special spectacular podcast. You guys are not going to want to miss that. That is going to be a fuck ton of fun. I'm actually jealous that he's got it on his channel because that's one that I've been looking forward to. You dirty bastard. You sniped me on that one, but he's going to have an amazing show.
Hey. I learned from Bob Holly, all right?
You learned from the best.
You know what Bob Holly told me?
Mm.
So you know what Bob Holly said about me, sorry?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Give him the pod and let him stream everybody.
Let him stream everybody. That's right. So you and I are going to go... We're going to have a great stream from that. Then on the 13th, we have the Mania predictions. We're going to have some big names from the YWC. That's right, the community. We're going to have some people tuning in. On the 15th, we're going to have Into Somewhere Weekly. That's going to cover Raw, the go-home show for Raw, and SmackDown, everything else in between. And then that night on the 15th, we'll be live for the NXT review. On the 17th, that's right, April 17th, we'll be live for the TNA pay-per-view review. Then on the 19th in the morning, we'll be live for Stand and Deliver. Oi, 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 my friend.
Should note on the Thursday as well, that's going to be a super late-ass fucking stream because they're doing their regular episode of Impact and then transitioning to pay-per-view.
Exactly. So it's going to be a late one, but it's going to be a great one. And then Saturday morning, the 19th, we have Stand and Deliver. Oi, oi, oi. That's right, my friend. That night, we have WrestleMania 41 Night 1. The next day, we have a recap for WrestleMania 41 and Stand and Deliver Into Somewhere Weekly. Then we have that night on the 20th, 420, Big Weed Stream. It's going to be WrestleMania 41 Night 2 review. Then the following night, the Raw after Mania review, and then the 22nd that
NXT
night.
in Vegas.
That's right, in Vegas, NXT along with Into Somewhere Weekly. It's going to be massive. We're going to be covering Raw. We're going to be covering SmackDown, both nights of Mania and
I heard,
NXT.
NXT in Vegas, we're going to get a surprise appearance from Kenny Omega, and the source was listed as "Just trust me, bro."
You know,
We got
I
loads of
don't
content.
disappoint. We've got people that aren't involved in Mania, and it makes me kind of upset. You know, we see Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Piper Niven, Roxanne Perez, Kairi Sane, Zelina Vega. Like, these are people I expected to have some type of Mania match, either a multi-woman match for the IC title or the Women's US title with the Secret Harvest, or we would get some type of feud. It seemed like Bayley and Roxanne were set to happen. Where did we go wrong, Spaz? What happened here?
I don't know. A lot of the women you just mentioned are being thrown. It's kind of haphazard, but it's better than nothing. So I'm kind of trying to meet WWE halfway on this one. There is going to be a gauntlet match on next week's SmackDown to establish the number one contenders for those titles. It's weird to me that Bayley and Lyra are in this if they're not going to win, but at the same time, if they are going to win, what, as you've mentioned, what happened to the Bayley Roxanne thing? What happened to Lyra Valkyria having a defense at Mania?
They did announce that next week we're going to have a impromptu gauntlet match for the women's tag team titles. So they said they're going to have a bunch of women face off for the chance to be number one contenders against Raquel and Liv at Mania on SmackDown.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
Exactly. That's what you're trying to mention. And I'm like, that's kind of a weird way to do it, you know?
It's
It's not convenient, that's for sure.
It's not convenient. The solace that I can take from it is it's announced that it's going to be on WrestleMania, because there's a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, because it's a 2-night WrestleMania, the SmackDown before has kind of become part of the show. Like, SmackDown before WrestleMania is like the kickoff, because we don't have matches on the kickoff anymore.
Yeah.
And they've said that this is going to be on WrestleMania. So what it means is, if nothing else, those women's tag team titles are going to be featured on the WrestleMania card, because it's not going to be on a kickoff. They don't do matches on the kickoff anymore, and it wasn't announced for WrestleMania SmackDown. So a little bit of solace in the fact that those titles will actually be represented. Little janky how we got.
It doesn't give you much confidence, right? And Spaz, that's kind of like the unfortunate side of it. Like, it's like, I believe they could make a big deal out of it, but they haven't set it up in any way that makes it like a big to-do or a good story. And like, Roxanne and Bayley could be great to tell at Mania, but they just kind of let everything fall to the wayside.
Like,
Bianca has her little match with Jade, and the rest of it is like, oh, whatever we get to, we get to. Why?
Oh my God, they could do almost anything better with Jade. This shit is cringe. I've said it enough times already. I don't want to rehash old shit. But
She's going to beat Naomi, and then what? Where does she go from here? Is she going to be heading for a title picture? Like, what do we get out of this? That's my problem.
What they should have done was Roxanne versus Bayley. Then you probably should have featured the Women's Intercontinental Championship on the show and do like Lyra versus Liv. That would have made.
You think? You think that would be a good
But
idea?
if they do Lyra versus Liv, then
I love you, Cody, because you're so right.
Are off the card.
And that's the thing. Like, neither side has a good leg to stand on. They both need to, like, oh, I need to defend this. I need to represent this. Like, so why are you not defending the title?
Liv should be presented better for WrestleMania after the year she had. She just
Oh,
gets
for sure.
thrown into a random tag team match.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But
I agree. What I would love, honestly, is, and I know they sort of built up the thing with Roxanne and Bayley, and for whatever reason that's gone by the wayside. If Roxanne Perez wants to make a statement, and we know she's coming to the main roster, like, there's nothing else for her in NXT, have her show up on Raw randomly one night and attack Lyra. And be like, I just attacked her because I wanted to make an impact on my first night. But hey, I've fucked my way into a title match now. Because
I want to know, Guapo, like, what do you think? What is drawing you to Mania? I'm just curious, like,
the women's division right now, to be honest with you.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, what are you looking forward to at Mania? Is there anything drawing you in that makes you want to watch Mania as a casual fan that hasn't been as hardcore on the watching side of things?
I have not been really into watching weekly TV right now, but the only thing really that's been drawing me in really has been like the Cena Cody stuff. Not so much the CM Punk and all that, just because it's
Yeah, the Roman, the Punk. I think a lot of people
convoluted.
were upset with the favor being, I want Paul Heyman in my corner. A lot of people were led to believe, especially the way they built this Mania, they were led to believe that Punk would be getting some type of special favor, introducing him into night 2 or going for a title, or it wouldn't just be like, oh, I've got Paul Heyman in my corner. Now, that's a great bit of storytelling, but they sold it for weeks now. This favor, this favor, this favor, this favor. It's so big. It's so monumental. It's so magnanimous. It's incredible. How could you not want to know what the favor is? And it's just, I want Paul Heyman in my corner. Now, it adds a great bit of drama, tension, and a good deal of showmanship to the match, because Paul's obviously going to have to, like, oh, I gotta help CM Punk. I can't help Roman, and that's gonna play into it. You know, maybe he puts Punk's foot on the rope when Roman has a chance to win. He's like, you know, that kind of thing, and they face each other off. I could see it happening.
All out though, you need to say, "I'm sorry, my tribal chief."
Exactly. Like there's layers to it. It's still not definitive, but as far as everything else it feels like a foregone conclusion.
I don't think the impact of the Paul Heyman thing is what he does at WrestleMania necessarily. I think the impact of the Paul Heyman thing kind of already happened in the storytelling sense, because Paul Heyman, like you can say, oh, Paul Heyman's just going to walk out with a different guy, but WWE has done enough to establish that Paul Heyman is kind of like the idol to Roman Reigns, in the sense of, like, yeah, when Solo went and made the second bloodline, he attacked all of them. He attacked Roman. He discredited Roman. He attacked the Usos. You know, they fucked with Sami Zayn and whatever, and that's fine. But when they put Heyman through the table,
when they actually attacked him,
it was the next step up. It was the "you're gonna fucking die." So, like,
that was a line too far moment. That was the point where I needed to step in and deliver some consequences. So, you fucked up enough.
I don't. It's that line. It was about this time he realized he fucked up.
Yes, but my
it was at this point he fucked up.
It's the breaking point, right? So the breaking. It's not about what's Paul Heyman gonna do on the night to Roman Reigns specifically. It's Roman Reigns sat there on SmackDown 2 nights ago, because we're now into Sunday. Well,
yes,
good morning, everybody.
I get your point, though.
But two nights ago, 2 nights ago on SmackDown, Punk said, "Paul, you're going to do this." Roman said, "Paul, tell him no."
Yeah.
And Paul said, "Sorry,
I
Roman,
can't do that. Yeah. I can't tell him no. I'm sorry. I want to." And the way he was able to well up with tears.
Not even the "I'm sorry." It's the undying, like, worship / respect that Paul Heyman has for Roman, and he would do anything for Roman, and he would lie down on train tracks for Roman.
The way he made himself cry sold it so perfectly.
Roman couldn't tell Paul what to do because somebody else came along that could.
Yes. And we never see that. And that should be the ultimate focal point.
So it's not about what, but this is where I'm taking a roundabout way to get there. But, like, this is why I'm saying it doesn't matter what Heyman does on the night, because he's already done it. It's what mindset does Roman now walk into WrestleMania with.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's my interpretation. Anyway.
Roman's alone. He's on an island by himself. And you made a great prediction weeks ago about Seth. So,
yep.
He's leaving with Seth.
You think Paul Heyman's just going to walk out with Seth Rollins? I can see it too, and it makes a great deal of sense.
And I can even see a way where he walks out with Seth, but that doesn't necessarily mean Seth wins the match.
No.
Right.
In the sense where, like,
I think Seth should win the match if he's going to walk out with him. Paul has to fuck one of them over.
I can see that. I can see that.
I can see Paul fucking over both Punk and Roman and being like, "You both put me in this part." And Seth said, "I don't have to choose. I can just,
It
you
could be
know,
something
that
like
kind of
this,
thing."
where CM Punk hits a GTS on Seth and goes to pin him, and
Yeah.
Paul pulls CM Punk out the ring. Then Roman thinks it's to help him, like ha ha ha. Then the second
Hey, we got
when
Liz
Roman
in the
tries to
chat.
pin Seth,
What's up, Liz?
Paul then
What's going on,
out the
Liz?
ring. Something like that. Like,
Because
I
I'm
think,
sorry.
I was watching Liz
it's-
stream live earlier. So what's going on, Marty, as well? Thank you. And Spaz. Who's that sexy bastard?
Oh, what's up, Marty? He wanted
with
to
the
ask
big
a few
fucking
questions
eggplant
about
there.
AEW, if that's the Marty that we're referring to. He DM'd me on Twitter saying if he could ask AEW questions.
Yeah, absolutely. He sure can. So I will post a link in chat right here, Marty. You can go ahead and join and ask us as you feel freely. Liz just finished streaming. I was watching her before. She was doing a great job. And I forget the name of the game because I'm terrible with names, but she was whooping some major ass. So that was fun to see. I got to go ahead and give her a... Oh, yeah, man. That's still like just such a fucking, like, Danny and I crack up every time with Booker T. The way he sells that theme.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Like just the whole way through. I'm a little drunk, sorry.
I'm just saying whatever.
When somebody asked about Trammell and how
I like it. Sorry, I had to. But shout out to the chat. Guys, let us know what you want us to talk about tonight. We're just kind of chatting about Mania and seeing what's what. But as far as everything goes...
CM Punk saves the WWE Championship from heel John Cena on night 2 of the first ever 2-night SummerSlam.
Exactly. And it
I'm
seems like
I've already
this is
said
going to
it many
happen.
times, but I'm pushing my boat out into the middle of the water because literally John Cena is threatening to do what CM Punk threatened to do after he beat John Cena at Money in the Bank in Chicago.
And that's the funny part too. Like so many people are upset about what they see, but it's shades of the familiar, shades of the old. It's all that we've seen before. You guys went and missed me for a second why I had to switch over there, but you know, that was the thing. Like you knew what was going to happen. Yeah, SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights, so that's the big crux of it all.
Similar to what you did for WrestleMania 40 with like the main event night 1 SummerSlam impacts the main event night 2 CM Punk John Cena, so you can do night 1 SummerSlam John Cena and The Rock versus maybe CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Something
Exactly.
like that. And that affects the match for night 2.
Well, Cody apparently was interviewed sometime this week saying he still wants that one-on-one match with The Rock, and he basically said, like, I think Rock's got a couple more matches in him, and I want one of them. I was like, all right, you go shoot your shot, bud.
Exactly. You're that close. You want to have it? Then hey, let's do it.
Night 1, Cody Rhodes versus The Rock, and something impacts night 2, like because The Rock will be representing Cena.
It could certainly be happening. I could see it happening, no doubt about it. I could see Cody retaining the title, but it would have to be in such a way that protected John. Overall, I still think John Cena is winning the title at Mania. Cody can chase him, even if Cena cheats and The Rock helps him. It's like, all right, there's a reason that you lost, and now we can move on going forward.
I think
Cena's going to win the Mania.
It would be a big flop if Cena loses. I'm sorry. It would just I would lose interest in the heel turn. Cena needs to win.
He has to. It kind of feels that way.
What makes me think he's not he's turned back to face is because he goes, you get nothing. So it's like, I don't know if that just means like they didn't want to go full board and they would have changed it anyway, but it just feels like
means
he's like,
that,
okay, go
It
back.
certainly feels that way. I got to grab another drink, so I'll be right back.
They don't want to change his attire because they don't want to lose merchandise money. So.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think, though, that it would have been nice to get. I guess the excuse was good enough, but they needed to change the theme song, I think.
Yeah, they should change
The
him out
theme
of
song.
the
The theme
too.
song.
He comes out to a different song in Mania, I think.
I'm not gonna lie. When he says I'm not gonna change anything, the music thing made sense only because he sings his own music, and I can see like ego heel John Cena being proud of saying like, no, you're not going to take away that. That's my voice. Da, 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 da.
I mean,
I would love him. I would love him to come
too.
out in like. I would love him to come out in like the most generic, like, I don't know, amateur wrestler singlet, whatever, like anti.
Well, he had one made.
Yeah, he had everything made already and done. Back in
2012.
2012, whenever he was doing the stuff with the Miz.
Where's that theme song at? I want to hear that.
It's in the vault, or like it might be in WWE HQ or something. I don't know.
I
Where
wonder
I'm
if they
sure he
released it
probably
one
owns
day.
I think after this run, yes.
I bet that heel music gets held back as like sort of like the last in joke, and he comes out to his heel music when he goes into the Hall of Fame.
That could be, yeah.
Or he comes out to the NWO theme song.
Oh my god!
Nice
Well, there
throwback
was a
to the empty WrestleMania.
There was the Firefly Funhouse was exceptional.
Yeah.
But there was an idea a while ago that they were going to have, what was it? It was like before we got the horrible news about Kevin Owens, but like Kevin Owens being this like paranoid, like, why doesn't anybody see what I see? And then Drew McIntyre was on a similar vein, and Seth Rollins was on a similar vein. And there was a rumor that like not exactly a ripoff, but they were going to like revamp and be the new NWO. What kind of twist would it have been if they had done that, and then their leader had been revealed to be John Cena at Elimination
Oh my God,
Live?
that would have been insane.
They should have. That makes sense. I was talking about that with Jake a few weeks ago on one of these podcasts. Like Cena, Drew, Seth would have made sense. Kevin Owens.
You guys all make great points. I've been listening, and that's the thing. It's like there was. So the promo we got this week was great, but up until here, it just wasn't firing. It wasn't making sense yet. Why did you side with The Rock? Why did you sell out on the fans? Why did you you could blame the you people thing, but that was so generic. It felt like it just beneath Cena. What he said this week is so memorable and so standout.
I'm going to double down on what I said to you a while ago. Everybody makes fun of it, like from the guys like us that are just shooting the shit to the bigger names, like the what cultures and whatever like that, have all made fun of the trope. They've all made fun of like you didn't really turn heel for any particular reason. You're just going to come out and do an each and every one of you promo, right? If there's anybody in WWE who can legitimately and truthfully come out and do an each and every one of you promo, it is John Cena. And that's
certainly he fits that entire thing entirely. Like he epitomizes the you people promo. And I love the way that Cody got the one up on him by saying they never chanted at me, you can't wrestle. But John was cooking bad. I mean, he said, I build empires for billionaires. You take money from their sons.
And then everybody cries because we're picking on AEW again.
But it's not picking on AEW. You're not hitting them while they're down. You're making a point about where you were when you were with WWE. It's not anti-AEW. It's anti-Cody. It's all you did was drain money from Tony. You didn't accomplish anything there. What did Cody build there that wasn't already? Basically, if he had his run before AEW where he was on the independent circuit and then just went right to WWE, it would have been the same. AEW did nothing to build his name, if you ask me. They couldn't even call him Rhodes for most of it. So really, Cody was viewed as a Nepo baby who, you're just an EVP. You can get into all these high profile matches. No one was behind him. No one cheered him. They wanted him to turn heel. WWE gets a hold of him, and he's the biggest babyface since
and then that
John Cena.
Fuck mentality went to the Bucks.
Yep.
Exactly. And then look what they did. They squished Top Flight. They fucked over Private Party. I'll let them take the titles, and we're out of here because we don't give a shit. We ruined them.
Yeah, this is the point. This is the point that I was making a long time ago, right? Like before everybody started coming in, before Ricky Starks, before Penta, before Phoenix, before Lexus King, before Jade Cargill, right? Everybody on the other side that was walking around in the mud was saying, "Oh, look, everybody would rather be here than WWE. WWE has fallen on its face, and da 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 da, and all the stars want to be here." Okay, cool. Counter argument: one of the people that created AEW knows that WWE is the better option.
Exactly. Look at TSF too. Just said in chat, he's like, I understand why Triple H books certain things to simmer and build. However, he does a lot where he just lets things simmer. But here's the thing. He knows when to maximize on the minutes. He knows when to hit the chords of your heart. He knows when to pull on the strings of your emotions. He knows when things have to go into that next level and be capitalized on. So I don't mind him building to a story to give us that ultimate payoff. As we're AEW, what big story do we have going into this weekend? Swerve is taking on Moxley? What?
Before we sink our teeth back into AEW again, because it's easy, I will lend a little bit of criticism to WWE, or not criticism, but like something that they're going to have to get over, in the sense of, yeah, Triple H does long-term storytelling. Nobody did anything before. Vince, blah, 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 right? You didn't look for a story before in WWE because it was one of those turn on Raw, turn on the pay-per-view, turn on WrestleMania, hope you get something good on the night, and then wash, rinse, repeat the next day, the next week, whatever, right? So I understand the people that are not used to, and I'm not trying to be condescending here, everybody, please understand me, but like,
no, you're not being just like different for the optimists or the opposite's sake. Excuse me.
The people that are not used to being able, it's not that they're not used to a long-term storytelling thing, because long-term stories do happen. But we're not used to knowing that we can trust that there's a story. Like, we go in there now and there's something kind of ridiculous, and you might walk away saying that's ridiculous on the night, but it might be something.
It might be. You're absolutely right. You nailed that. You epitomized that, because there might be something. Brendan just said he had to take off. He said, thank you so much. No, thank you, Brendan, for being here. We love you, bud. You're more than welcome to come Mania weekend. I sent Liz the link as well, but we've got so many people chiming in, and I really appreciate each and every one of you doing so. Spaz, you hit it on the head, though, my friend. And I don't mean to just like fillet you left and right, but you're so spot on with this.
I'd rather have it down the center.
Right? I'm telling you, a little left of center anyways. I'm trying. It's a dentures. But any event, gag reflex or not, I'm telling you, my friend, we have seen them about ready to capitalize on something massive multiple times and then fail to do so. And it's baffling. It's impossible to fathom. How do they fuck this up? Oh, because they keep letting Moxley retain over and over again without any repercussions or any type of comeuppance for him and the Death Riders. It's heat every fucking week, just heat and heat and heat and beating down your stars. Why would people give any? They don't care about. Swerve got put through glass with a power bomb. Oh, he rose up out of it, but he still got destroyed. What's the point?
What I love is even the like AEW diehards were like, yeah, that glass spot sucked.
And that's the thing. And they had a great interaction backstage, and I want to give them credit for it. But then when they fuck up with the follow-up, it feels disingenuous to say, like, you guys did great, because the follow-up is so horrendous. They're backstage and Swerve's like, hey, I hate you. And Hangman's like, I hate you too. You came and cut a promo on my family. And Swerve's like, well, you burnt my house down. And Hangman says, you deserved it.
He said, I know.
I know, Swerve says, I know. And that changed the interaction. That was great. But they couldn't capitalize on that. They had to be greedy and go for more. And now Hangman gets his vengeance, and it turns into the sloppy bullshit when they had a moment that they could have built on. But they had to try and capitalize at the same time.
It's okay, though, because Jericho's going to get them that ROH deal on Fox, and he's going to take Bandito's mask, and everything's going to be okay.
I still love Jericho arguing with that 8-year-old boy who had better abs than he did. You know, that made me pop.
I love Jericho, man. Honestly,
I want to love Jericho. Like, I want to be where you are. It's just, it's so hard not to be disingenuous with him when he puts forth this negative vitriolic angle. I don't know if you want to call it a gimmick, but like the side of him where he's like, fuck the fans, I'm right. I know what, is better than what you guys predict. But it's not full heel. It's a lot of him being him.
Here is where, and I will send a shout out to the guys over the Wrestling for Life Network, because I check out their live streams a lot, and they go into every Dynamite when they do their watch alongs and whatever, and it's like, okay, it's probably going to be the drizzling shits, but we walk in with positivity, we walk in with hope, we hope it's a good show.
Exactly.
And I know you, even more than myself, are tripping over yourself pretty much to give any credit where it's actually due.
I tried to, and I head over to those guys. I watched Wrestling for Life, and those guys find, not in a negative way, mountains out of molehills. Like, they find ways to celebrate the good that we don't pick up on. And that's why I really appreciate them, because they help me feel good about something.
That was good that they still managed to kill. But my point is, and I put this into one of their chats a while ago, I admire people that are going into an AEW show at this particular point thinking, oh, something might be good. Let's be positive. Let's be optimistic. Let's, this, that, the next thing. I have reached the Ivan Drago, if they die stage.
Yes.
So when I see Jericho in there winding everybody, I want to see the people that I enjoy still, right?
Exactly. But how could you not want that?
You want to see the people you enjoy, but I mean, eventually, if AEW falls down, like
the people you care for. Here's a great point. I love Ricky Starks so fucking much. I mean, I genuinely enjoy him. They had so many matches on the Grand Slam Rampage event that to see him take on Will Hobbs was like another hour and 20 minutes away with all the Ring of Honor stuff they did. So we left. We never got to see that match. And I so badly wanted to see that match. But I couldn't justify having to walk like 10 miles to get to our car for the way our Thrash Stadium worked out. You had to get a subway and then walk like 6 miles to get to the parking zone. It was awful. So I was like, all right, forget it.
I want to throw one out to Cody and Guapo, because I think we're dominating the conversation. Triple H gives you the checkbook, says you can sign anybody from anywhere for WWE to have a surprise appearance or match at WrestleMania. Who are you going for?
I mean, my personal opinion, I would do MJF. I want him on the show.
Very nice.
Yeah, MJF probably great. Now, is this like a one-time only, or is this like?
This is like whoever you want to see show up in WWE for a night. What they do after that is up to them.
I mean, yeah, MJF, of course, would be great to see live or see on WWE TV. Of course, he could not be anywhere near the character that he portrays and that he is on AEW on WWE TV, just because it would translate. However, it wouldn't last.
I give him the credit of, like, yeah, there may be more constraints in WWE, but I think he could still maneuver within them and get that character across.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to JD. He just sent me a really sweet, kind message back that I got to reply to. So
the mic worker as is made out to be, he would. It would work.
Yeah, that's why I sent JD this really genuine apology, because I was like, hey, listen, even if I wasn't saying anything, I wasn't fighting against it. And it took a lot of therapy to realize, like, hey, this was not me trying to be loyal. It was, hey, I should have taken a stand. And I apologize genuinely, being like, hey, this shouldn't have happened. And a lot of people, Baz was great about addressing mental health in wrestling. And he did it in such a way that was so genuine and heartfelt that it really moved me, because you took on this role of like, hey, listen, people use wrestling as a way to not only escape from reality, but also to allow themselves to just find a little bit of joy in the hellscape that is life at times. And sadly, it was becoming this source of negativity, this vitriolic hate that was happening constantly for no real reason. And it was so unjustified. And it all came down to simply, I have a different opinion than you do. And that warranted this harassment campaign. So it was just very immature and uncalled for. And I genuinely just, like, your goal, Spaz, and you've helped me a lot over the last, especially 2 years, have a positive outlook. I have given you as much praise as I possibly can. If it's not enough, I'll owe you forever. But I genuinely mean that, because you find a way to be, even in the most dire of times, you find the positive in all of it. You're like, Well, it could be that, and I envied you for it, but I also studied and I worked on being more open to change and also being willing to accept, like, hey, this is not the end. This is now. This is here. You can get through it. Just gonna take a bit of work, and I was willing to put the work in. Yeah.
George and that shit. Fuck him.
No, especially Cody. Like, my heart broke for you because you know, and Spaz said as well, like, it was horrible because of someone's simple jealousy, like, all because you got Liv Morgan's attention with a silly tweet and they started to follow you. Like, that warrants you getting all this harassment. It's heartbreaking, and we just want everyone to have a good time and be lifted up. So I know Spaz has been greatly looking forward to Guapo being here, as have I. You know, Trek had to cut out early. Connor was here. Okay, Fabe, I love him like a brother. It's great to have him back. Cody's been great, and so is Spaz and Guapo. I'm so happy to have you here. So
I appreciate the invite.
The thing with that is
You'll be coming back.
calling him out because he
Damn
lied
straight.
about something sickening. I'll
Yeah.
keep calling this out because that's what he lied about. He said I made fake accounts of a deceased friend of his. It's
Yeah.
sickening.
No,
I had all the
and
proof.
it's
Then
horrible.
You tried to defend me, and then he said that's more evidence that it's you.
I know I'm a fake you.
And then he said these Riddler accounts said they had anxiety and autism, so that's more signs it's me. I'm like, so these Riddler accounts are saying stuff I've personally told you.
Hey, you know, my friend, the only thing that burns my ass equally is WWE charging as much as they do. I'm telling you, like, as much as bullshit you deal with, goddamn. But I was excited. I was like, oh, look, they're hosting WrestleMania after parties for anywhere from $50 to $79. I'm like, you get the luncheons and, you know, you get to see some different performances from big stars. Oh, wait, if it starts at $49, but if you want to meet either star, it's an extra $650. So
Jake,
I think
shout out to Liz in the chat. I was going to bring this up on another pod, but we might as well bring it up here. We
absolutely.
talked about the NXT TNA relationship and how awesome that is. Rebellion is TNA's next huge show, and just announced on last week's episode of Impact was the fact that Joe Hendry is defending against not only the winner of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, Frankie Kazarian, but also NXT's Ethan Page in a triple threat match. Hell of a match.
It was so damn good. I'm so excited because Ethan Page excites me, and I love that he's multifaceted in the sense that he's going after multiple titles at the same time, but with the same ego for each one. He's like, I'm going to be North American champion and TNA champion, and you're both going to have to bow down and respect me.
I love the fact that they're fully setting up an ex-AEW stars triple threat match for Stand and Deliver. Oi, oi, oi.
Tony fumbled. Tony fumbled. Like, hearing them chant that.
If they actually do Ethan Page versus Sean Spears versus Ricky Saints, and then he carries the North American champion after beating two other of his fellow ex-AEW guys, and then carries it over into TNA and fights for their title as well. Considering that AEW has moved one of their shows to Thursday to counter program TNA's pay-per-view as retaliation for TNA now working for WWE.
Exactly. I mean, TSS brought up an interesting point. He says, I'm going to be in the minority here, but Ricky Starks is really not doing that great in NXT for him. He said it's just him feuding with Ethan Page. That's my opinion. I disagree entirely. One of my favorite things that we've gotten so far is Ethan Page and, well, first Sean Spears and Ricky Saints. I got to get used to saying that. And then the development into Ethan Page. But the first sit down they had, Starks brought up some great points, but he got belittled and destroyed by Spears, just taking him down peg by peg. It makes perfect sense why they had Spears be such a transitional champion, because the plan was always to get the belt right on Saints. That's why if Saints beat Tony D, people wouldn't be as happy as him beating Sean Spears, obviously.
Well, no.
So they did a quick little change there. But Ethan Page challenging for both titles, I think, is intentional. I think they want to play up him being like this multifaceted threat. Excuse me.
But I think that we're going to have Oh, it's a very different conversation. But we had the conversation when Moose took on Obafemi, because that was a match that we had talked about for a long time. And it was kind of weird because it was the mid-card champion from one company going for the main champion of the other. We're going to have the opposite in that case if where was I going with that? If Ethan Page is now the mid-card champion and goes to fight their world champion, it's champion versus champion, but not in the strictest sense the way we usually say it. So he's going to be coming in, and Joe Hendry, if he wasn't a babyface, could say, yeah, you're a champion, I'm the champion, the same way Obafemi could have said the same thing to Moose. Even though Obafemi and Moose over-delivered like crazy.
And it didn't, and that's what people enjoyed from it. Like, they were like, holy shit, this match is everything I wanted to be and then some. Like, they really got to lock on and enjoy. And I added Spaz, Cody, and Guap on the side. You can follow Cody on Twitter or Instagram at Judgment Day Era, Spaz Phoenix at Spaz Phoenix or Spaz Phoenix Podcast, but you'll find all the info in the description box down below. Guapo, the one and only, finally joining us. I'll have to get his info for the description box down below. But you guys can go ahead and check out everything you need down below with the links, and we'll get everybody linked out. That's for certain.
Again, those are the links to all my accounts.
Yeah, every single one, and the fake ones. Buff Egan said, "What did you think of Mr. Everybody Dies Lance Archer? All he does is be extras in the back." Yeah, I know. One of your other accounts, he's red, raw, useless. There's quite a few talents on AEW that have not been utilized in a long time. Wardlow, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs has barely been focused on. They have these names.
Jake, that's not fair. Samoa Joe's running the ops now.
It reminds me of Spin Your Block, you know? Oh, that mess, I'm gonna spin your block tonight. You know, like, come on, really?
They could go for the trios titles next against the fucking Blackpool Com Bland club.
Yeah, what a joke that's becoming. And here I thought, being
there was
charged.
A sign on Dynamite. There was a sign on Dynamite that had all their pictures on it, and it said the Bore Me to Death Riders.
That's a great one. We'll go through it really quick. I mean, there's not even like a predictions to be had because most of the matches here are foregone conclusions. Forget the pre-show. So Tony Storm versus Megan Bayne. I think Tony's going to retain. What about you guys?
Tony's going to retain. Tony. Timeless Tony Storm.
Tony.
Yeah.
Tony Storm.
Everybody's agreeing.
Tony.
Instead of Cody Rhodes, Tony Storm, and she has to retain here. They'll build up somebody else, but Megan's not going to be the challenge to dethrone her. If it's Mercedes, I could see it happening so she can add more belts, but she's going to steal Athena's belt. Then we have Omega versus Ricochet versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Spaz said this is the match you're most excited to see, probably, right?
And this is the thing. This is where I want to say that AEW has sort of done something right. I can't stand the character that they've made Ricochet into. I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, Speedball Mike Bailey is somebody that I've seen quite a bit at Destiny. Check it out for Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine. Happy to see him on a huge stage, even though it's not the right one, but that's okay.
But he deserves that kind of attention, granted. Mike Bailey has a very interesting, unique offense. You're like, because he's going as fast as he fucking can, but he's like a pinball machine on crack. Sorry, I'm a little drunk. Yeah. He genuinely, when he tilts, but he nails every hit. And I'm telling you, the guy just is so stupendously quick with his reactions that it makes the match more exciting. And somebody like Ricochet to be the counter to that, with that fast-paced style, works well. Kenny keeps things a bit more grounded, a bit more like impact-centric, where he's doing the bigger, harder, more drawn-out moves. So each man serves a great purpose, and overall, I think it's going to be a stupendous match. I'm not pulling any bullshit.
Somebody's going to step on Speedball's foot.
My guess is Ricochet gets pinned, and Kenny Omega retains. Okada retains later on. And
they're just
basically
doing
they're
it
building,
yeah.
they're building towards Okada versus Omega to unite the belt. That's my thought with Takeover All in Japan, whatever the fuck they're doing. I know it's in Texas, but they're booking New Japan style.
They're gonna bring the international champion and the continental champion together. Gee, I wonder what they're gonna call the belt.
Oh, the Intergender Continental Championship.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot clown pole. But it's going to be Omega, and it should be Omega.
Wait.
It's the Intergender Champion. Oh God,
Is that a
she's
10-meter
dead.
flagpole where your arms pass?
Guapo, I'm going to throw bagged milk at you.
Just running away from the chick with a dick wearing flannel. Oh God, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, where are the gimmicks when you need them? Daniel Garcia against Adam Cole. Like, this is what Adam Cole is doing. He's taking on Daniel Garcia for the TNT title. This match has no time limit and no outside interference is permitted. So you cannot have outside interference.
Nothing interesting is happening.
Exactly. Like, all right. So if
I
Adam
hate saying
Cole
that
wins
about Adam
here,
Cole,
then
but
he
damn.
deflates Daniel Garcia. And if Daniel Garcia wins, then he fucks over Adam Cole. Adam Cole looks like a orange Trump lookalike at this point. He's so skinny, so frail, and so orange. I don't know what to make of him.
No. So what you're saying is he's the best dressed.
He's great.
He's fantastic. There's no exchange rate on Adam Cole, baby. He's
This
not a
match
baby.
is going to be huge, okay? It's going to be
He's not-
huge.
My people have told me this is. I would never say this. This is what they tell me. They tell me he's not actually a baby.
I'm
We don't
spitting
let
up
the
some of
babies-
that fucking goddamn, that goddamn fruit punch rock star with vodka. Oh, you're making me laugh too goddamn much. I mean, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe.
We don't let the babies work here.
We don't let him do it.
We just tax them to death.
Exactly. We're just going to make them watch the whole time.
This
Oh,
is-
God. It
this
almost made me die there fucking laughing. I didn't know how much more of the fucking stuff I could hold down. Ugh. But
This is my new platform. We're gonna tax the babies. It's gonna be.
don't take a
fantastic.
sip when you're going for Spaz Trump. I spit that up all over the side of my leg over there. That was hilarious, though. TSS says, I disagree. The best Ricochet has been, he's perfect as this nerdy, geeky dude. I think he's hot shit and better than him before he turned heel or he was in WWE. Ricochet is excellent as a heel. He's delivering consistently. The problem is, he's not connecting with a feud that gets the fans to either want to see him get his comeuppance or get beat down or see him succeed. Either way with a heel. Like, you can have heels that you don't like, but you need to see them succeed to build towards the title picture. We're not getting that. Ricochet's just been like, I'm going to have a crazy good match, but I'm stagnating here with X, Y, and Z.
That's all he is a great man. Unfortunately, he has nothing else about him. I don't think he has any charisma. I don't think he's good on the mic whatsoever. I don't know. Maybe it's just me biased. Don't like Ricochet.
No, you're not. I like Ricochet as well, but like, it's not the promos that's getting us there. It's him doing the moves in the ring that makes me more excited, but it's just not enough story to make me care. And because Kenny's involved, you're like, oh yeah, they had Kenny Omega and Okada do the stare down. So we know since that match is a foregone conclusion, it's hard to even buy into anything else in the meantime. That stare down never should have happened, or they should have done it in a way without the titles.
I'll be upset.
You're not wrong either. I mean, it's hard not to be upset with Kenny. We have the Death Riders taking on rated FTRs, so Cope, Cash, and Dax. They've been having their own little dissension in the ranks, like, who gets along? Will they? Won't they? Oh my God, can they coexist? I hate those storylines where it's like, oh, we pair people together and they're oddballs. Can they coexist? They have bad blood. I mean, the Death Riders are going to retain here because someone's going to turn on Edge. It's already been painted that way, and it feels lazy.
Are we sure Vince isn't working?
I don't know. Vince might be in AEW. Maybe Shane got a hold of him, but we got Jericho and Bandito, title versus Mask. It's the ROH title, so already people are like, what the fuck ever. It doesn't have the same reverence or presentation value that it had years ago. That title used to be revered higher than even the WWE title at one point in time. because of the work rate the champions had. When Brian, the American Dragon, held that thing in 2006 or 7, whichever it was, 5, he earned it and he made it what it was. So seeing Bandito have to lose his mask if he doesn't beat Jericho, just at this point, it doesn't feel warranted. It doesn't feel like their feud has been built enough to be mask versus, title altogether. But that's the stipulation. Daniel Garcia, Adam Cole. I imagine Garcia will retain because if Cole wins here, then Garcia's buried. You got the Hurt Syndicate taking on the Learning Tree. Big Bill and Brian Keith, they're going to be buried. No way the Hurt Syndicate is losing anytime soon. Ospreay and Kevin Knight. Ospreay. Mercedes and Julia, obviously Mercedes, and then Fletcher and Briscoe, obviously Fletcher. So it's just not anything to really talk about. What is there to bite in and sink into here? Moxley and Swerve?
No.
I'm not being negative either. I want to like this. I want to enjoy it. Once they turned MJF from a heel as the ultimate bastard into our scumbag, he has never recovered because the fans then wanted to cheer for him and then they never wanted to boo him again. So once he became a heel, the fans were like, no, we like cheering for this guy. We want him to be our guy, not a bad guy. So he gets these weird, awkward, semi-interactive reactions where people are just like, yeah, you're a dick, but that's not what I wanted. And it's embarrassing. You're getting quarter sold out arenas and quarter attention compared to what it used to before. I mean, there's so many things I need to fix, but this is definitely something up there for me personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there any other match you guys are looking forward to on this show, honestly?
Basically the Kenny and Speedball and Ricochet. That's the biggest match of the night that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, Guapo, you kind of nailed it. I mean, have you been following AEW regularly, Guapo, or?
Lately, I have not, which is terrible because they're actually coming to New Orleans in like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
The week after Mania, and I'm not going because work and yeah. But no, it's just I'm stuck till work till 6 o'clock, and the show starts at the doors open at 6, and I'm not driving in an hour, over an hour to get to New Orleans.
No.
Or Dynamite to go back to work the next day. So no.
I guess the night that you go would be the night you're tentative to go in New Orleans would be the 2025 Owen Hart Foundation finals for that tournament. But the way the tickets are being charged, it says right here. So let's see. They're having Fenway Park for AEW Dynamite on the 16th and 17th. That's Dynamite and Collision, which we already knew. That's in Boston because they did Springfield for Collision before that. And then they go to Norfolk, Virginia, Atlantic City. And then they go to Detroit, Illinois, New Mexico, Arizona, and then Texas. So the only one for even New Orleans is before that, and that was $80 a ticket for the way in the back. So, and they're not even selling out. I want to see them be able to achieve these things, but
were not bad price.
No,
me and my friends were looking at floors tickets, like maybe row 2, for $60 a pop.
And we just got done saying earlier, Guapo, about how WrestleMania was $5,000 for that same ticket. And I know that's Mania, but a Raw ticket for the London O2 Arena to sit where AEW, the ticket would be $82 plus tax. Mm-hmm. It was $750 for the WWE ticket comparison.
Oh, not even, I think it was like 2 years ago. I bought tickets for myself, my wife, and I brought my nephew and my dad to SmackDown in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
For the 4 of us, I want to say we weren't on the floor, but it was like the first riser in the Baton Rouge, the Raising Cane's arena, and I want to say it was roughly about $60 to $70 a ticket for that, and
even that you feel like was highway robbery. When I went last year, when Jade Cargill made her debut, I was lucky enough. We got 3 tickets, front row, right against like the barricade, non-camera side from Road Dog, and he sent us there. But then I took my mom, my wife, and my best friend Patrick, my good weed dealer, and I had to bring him. Obviously.
Of course.
So
You gotta
he
keep
makes
him
it a
happy.
good time. Exactly. No, so we get there and they were literally in the last row of the building against the wall. So I'm sitting with my daughter and her boyfriend ringside, front row, and my wife, my mother, and my best friend are sitting very last row in the arena against the wall. So it was like the ultimate dichotomy between this setup. But those 3 wall tickets cost me $450 for them to go. And I was like, it feels like I could have gotten the front row tickets cheaper. Jesus Christ, But back in the day, I would get these tickets all the time when they would come for $25 for a 4-pack for each ticket. So it was $100, but you got 4 good tickets. WrestleMania, if you and I wanted to go, you have to purchase a minimum of 2 tickets. And the cheapest seat is $267. So by the time you add in fees for 2 of them, it's almost $700. It's like $680 and change. You're behind the Titantron. You can't see anybody come out for their entrances, and the ring is obstructed as well by the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So you're there to what? Watch the
Not
jumbo
worth it.
screen?
Nope. It's not worth it.
For $70, I could be like, oh, maybe I'm there. All right, I'll see some of the pyro and the reactions, but I get to be with the crowd. But not for $790, and you're missing everything.
At that price, I'm watching it somewhere else, and then going to the white culture guys is.
There's a lot of people, you nailed it already, that are not going to Mania on the YouTube side of things. And the Vegas Tourism Board is apparently complaining about TKO charging too much for these tickets. So they have the WrestleMania performance packages coming up, basically. And what it is that for each night, the LIV Hotel is featuring basically an after party each night. And it seems like, all right, that'll be cool. It'll be fun for people to go to. I get it. But holy hell, is it expensive. So initially, the WrestleMania After Dark at the LIV and LIV beachfront hotels from April 17th through the 20th sounded like they were going to be a little expensive, but not that bad. So Thursday, Friday nights were $59 a ticket. Saturday and Sunday were $79 a ticket. So you got Thursday, Valentino Khan, Friday, Metro Boomin, Saturday's Machine Gun Kelly, and Sunday's Flo Rida and Gronk is hosting the whole big thing. If you want to see any of the talent with them, it's over $600 for a 10-second high five media photo op. So the first night you get Charlotte, Rey Mysterio, and Bianca. It's $690 for a 10-second photo op. The second night, Friday, Liv Morgan and Braun Breaker is $468 for one photo op with the 2 of them. Saturday, Jimmy and Jay Uso, $989 for a photo with these 2 for 10 seconds. And then Saturday, Tiffany Stratton, Damian Priest, Gronk, and Flo Rida. You take a picture with them, $819.
Yeah.
So the party's $49.99, $79.99, or $89. So you're like, oh, that's not too bad. You get to meet the stars. You get to go in, food, drinks. No, nothing is included. You get into the building. That's it. Access. Liz went to WrestleMania 33. So many people went to Manias around that time. You would go to Access, you would pay your ticket, but then you would get to meet whatever stars were out there. The legends sometimes, like the big ones, Taker, Austin, you would have to pay for just for reservations, but it was $60 to $40. It wasn't $900 fucking dollars. So one day of Access, if you want to meet 4 stars, it's $1,100. You're going to meet Finn Balor. You're going to meet Rey Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez for almost $1,200. And that's the issue here. The greed is pushing these people outward. They are making them alienate a good chunk of their fans that are just not able to go ahead and keep up with it. Yeah, exactly.
So-
You know, getting pictures with the Undertaker and meeting people is incredible.
That's two of my best friends.
Yeah.
That met him at Rumble, not this past year, but the year prior,
Hmm.
and the experience was awful. And obviously, the picture speaks for itself.
I mean, it's a good photo of them too, but like you see, he just looks very disinterested and like, get me out of here. And that's not what you want for those type of moments, especially when you're dipping that kind of cash and investment and you're waiting all these hours,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
and you know, Orange Cassidy's right. Skip AEW, just listen to Spaz Phoenix. Absolutely. That's what we say here. But
Why
you guys aren't wrong though to spend that much money. I mean, oh my God,
Yeah.
it breaks my
It does.
heart in a way.
Now, when you can go meet wrestlers at Comic Cons for $60 a pop or cheaper or whatever it
Here's the
is.
thing, though.
Well, I was curious how it works, so I went over to the like the Fanatics website to see how much tickets would cost for certain things. And holy shit, like not even night and day together at all. Like way on the outside of what should be featured. Like it's absolutely heartbreaking how much they're charging. So if you go to WrestleMania to meet CM Punk, it's almost $800 for a photo op.
Yeah.
But if you go to the
Like,
Fanatics,
it's not
like
worth it.
yeah, the New York weekend, it's like 130 to 210, which is still ridiculous. I mean, I remember I met Stone Cold for $25. I met Lita for $20. I met Badass Billy Gunn. The security actually put their hands on their guns for my buddy Nick and I. He'll tell you the same story, but they got all like antsy because I wanted to shake his hand. And I'm like, really? You know, like these things shouldn't happen. But time and time again, you see them be this way. And I see it pricing out a subsection of fans that are not going to be able to attend. You're alienating your audience.
I just did at a Comic-Con here in Lafayette, and I met DDP. $60 for a photo op and a autograph. Like
Exactly. And you got this great photo and the autograph. You got everything combined. He looks interested. He's happy. He's doing the diamond cutter fucking, you know, hands with you. Like it's a great moment.
I spent a solid 10 minutes talking to him. Like genuinely nice, great guy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like I said, I met Moolah and May and they were like so interested. Here's the DDP autograph you got. And it's personalized and it's him. He was like, here, Jordan, this is for you. This is how I spell your name. I want to make sure I get the spelling right. I want you to be like, oh, self high five. Here it is from DDP. I was in the Hall of Fame. Like he tags it. It's dedicated to you. He gave you that moment, that memory, that special interaction. I'll never forget. We met Lita and I'm like 13, I believe, maybe 12, about to turn 13. And my good friend Nick, him and I joked that we were twins, even though we couldn't look more opposite. We used to tell the story to everybody as a joke. And he had a Slipknot shirt on. And Lita's like, oh my God, I love Slipknot. And this is like 2001. So they're not like super mainstream yet. And she lifts up her sweatshirt and she's like, see? And she had the same Slipknot sick shirt on with the barcode. And she ended up talking with us for like an extra 30 seconds. But that interaction, talking about music and like, oh my God, the most beautiful girl we've ever laid eyes on TV, just told us how much our music selection, you know, is great compared to like that kind of thing. Like it was a personal thing as a teenager. I was like, oh my God, I could never love her more as a fan because we got that really cool, quick interaction. And I know she had to sign for hundreds of other people, but she made everybody feel addressed and understood and appreciated. And I feel like that's lacking today when you're spending these exorbitant prices without getting much in return. It becomes like a conveyor belt, as you said. Like your friends are, you got Undertaker downtrodden and mopey looking, and it's like, not for nothing, but God knows how much they spent to get that photo, and he's not into it. It's sad. It's unfortunate. You want to see people like hyped to be like, oh, the fans made me. I respect you guys. I dedicate my life to you because you dedicated your life to me. I don't always feel that way with Undertaker. As much as I love Mark and what he's done and the way he's developed his podcast and that persona and kind of taken the time to pull the curtain back, it's still not. You can tell he's still stuck. Like, old habits die hard. There's certain things for him that, like, he can't let go of some of the kayfabe elements. He has to keep certain things alive. And I get it. You know, it's how you grew up in the business. Obviously, I'm not in the business. I don't know. You can call me a mark, granted, but it certainly does detract from the overall feeling that the people are supposed to have this special memory and you're instead disillusioned and upset to be there. It's not a great feeling, you know. There was actually one female wrestler that we met ages ago, and I always forget her name. She had red hair, and
Christy Hemme.
no, she was more on the independence. She kind of had like a vampire motif essentially, but she went ahead and got into it with my other co-host, and like it just continually brewed from there. And we tried to meet her in person at one point, and she was just like not having it. But it was unfortunate to have that erupt. I'll find it eventually, but she was kind of outspoken. She had red hair. She was never on anything major. Pretty much all local independents.
I'm gonna be heading out for the night.
Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping up here soon, but thank you, man. I'm so glad to have you here, just hanging out with us. This is all I've wanted forever. I've looked forward to this for a long time. Like I said before, we have a bunch of shows coming up for the stream. We just wanted to test things out, see how it went, and hang out with some awesome people. So thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to do more with you coming up, and I'm excited.
I'll be seeing you all in a couple days.
Fucking A right, my friend. I can't thank you enough for swinging by and hanging out, making it awesome, and we will see you later on this week.
Later, guys.
Absolutely, my friend. I have been waiting for years now to work with Guapo, so that was incredible spaz. Thank you for that, my friend. I'm telling you. Cody, you got any last comments or whining words you want to address before we get the hell out of here?
I was gonna bring up that WrestleMania thing again with Paul Heyman.
I want to hear what you got to say about this.
I'm not sure if I got everything out before, but or if I remember. I'm kind of tired, so I don't even remember what I was saying before. But
yeah, it's not like it's almost 2 a.m, but yeah.
Yeah. I think if Seth's gonna walk out with Paul Heyman, Seth needs to win the match, and if Paul Heyman needs to screw them both over, I think CM Punk first. If CM Punk hits his finisher on Seth, and then Paul grabs on to CM Punk or pulls CM Punk out of the ring, and then Roman thinks it's for him or something, because you have to play that up too. Roman thinks, "Oh, you're helping me. I knew you would help me," and then he fucks Roman over too. He hits Seth with a spear.
Yeah,
and then Paul
takes him down.
So he fucks them both over. The two people fighting over him get fucked over by him.
Exactly. So, I mean, Spaz is saying religiously, like, oh, Seth is going to be the one walking out with Heyman. I could see that happening, but I did see the favor just being Paul Heyman's going to be in my corner, not yours, Roman, for the storytelling. A lot of people are upset. They wanted Punk to be added, or whoever won to be added as a triple threat to Mania. I don't think they would have done that if they didn't have more time to build it up. So, Baz, you might be muted. We're not hearing you, my friend. Let's go into Discord and see if there's a issue, maybe? I don't know. We're not hearing you. You're not muted on my end, but go ahead, try it again. Let's see. Can you hear?
Can you hear me?
There we go. Now we hear you. Jesus, I don't know why you weren't picked up before. I think it did mute you, but I don't know why.
Maybe I was talking too much.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say the only problem with Seth winning
fucking Discord.
I'm a big backer of Seth, but a lot of people think that this is a Roman Punk match with Seth in it.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to take that not as a disliking to him, but they'll take it as a deflation if he's the winner, when so many people, and it's their own predeterminations that are doing this, but so many people's predictions for this match is whoever wins, Seth sealing the pin. So if he wins, I don't think it's bad. I think it falls a little flat in the building because I think that seems to be the most positive.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Seth
point of view
eating the
here.
pin, but then leaving with Paul too, like that. I could see it happening.
Seth needs to get his pin on Punk.
It really does seem like that's what's going to happen there. So,
You sure you might have got your WrestleMania main event, but I got the last laugh in the end. So
exactly,
I-
like it's so
See, I would love
close.
to see this is like the final. Punk wins if Paul Heyman doesn't turn, and the Paul Heyman with Punk thing, gets reinforced as it's only for one night.
Yeah,
Rollins and Roman tear each other up in the match because of all the Shield history, and because of that, Punk can get the win. Him getting the win solidifies the Shield against Punk going forward. Punk goes to SummerSlam, takes down big bad evil heel champion John Cena, and the night after SummerSlam, you get Seth Rollins with a sneak attack saying, "Hey, forgot about me, motherfucker."
yeah. Where do you think I've been all this time? You should have not undermined me. I can totally see the Avengers scenario happening because how do they have John Cena lose without neutering his heel turn here? Cody has to lose the belt, right?
I think so.
I don't see another way around it. Like, this is one of those, I know, foregone conclusions, but it really feels that way because Cena loses, then what? Like, all right, you couldn't beat Cody. You said you could. You did nothing. At least Cody, if Cena cheats because he's a heel, Cody can keep chasing and coming back and trying to steal the belt. But hey, I can't do it alone. I need help. Punk takes the title. Like, this could be a great Avengers-esque storyline, like you said, but
Imagine
I
if
think Cody needs to
loses the
lose.
belt. Cody loses the belt. He goes crazy. He goes heel himself and reunites both sides of the bloodline. It doesn't make sense, but I would trust WWE to take my idea that doesn't make sense and make it make sense.
Make it work out. I mean, it certainly could. I don't see that happening, but I get what you're going for.
who's your babyface? If Cena's heel, Cody's heel, Rollins is gonna go heel.
I don't think so because there's always wrestling doesn't do it enough. But I've always said there's scope for a heel thing.
Yeah,
And
because
my-
Cody's
my-
not going heel. I agree with Liz. They're not going to have him. They turned Cena heel because Cody could finally be that top babyface.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making a more general statement now.
I
I'm
know
saying
you
that
are. I
there's-
was just commenting on the chat. I'm just saying Cody's not going to
Okay.
turn heel. Yeah.
The scope of wrestling in general to do heel versus heel. My example has always been if you got like peak of his career, dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair, versus peak of his career, lie, cheat, and steal, Eddie Guerrero. They could both be dickheads. They could structure the whole match as which one of us can be the bigger dickhead. And I don't think anybody would complain.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's kind of like this weird thing in between. Yeah.
Because they were both heels when they feuded at the Royal Rumble, right? And fought.
Fair, yeah.
So I guess it could work. But if Seth goes with Heyman, he's turning heel, right?
It kind of
Ah,
feels
fair,
that
yeah.
way, right? Like he has to.
I thought he turned heel at the Royal Rumble. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that's where his heel, because it looked like he just snapped, like how he did the curbs out them.
See, because right now I don't think you look at it, and I'll give the credit to AEW because with their situation that we've been talking about with the Hangman and Swerve situation, like both of them are kind of psychopaths. Nobody's really a good guy. I think with the triple threat we got coming up at WrestleMania, nobody's a squeaky clean good guy. But if Seth turned more heel, then Roman and Punk would be faced by default.
Yeah, because Cody's not turning heel. There's no, I don't, not yet. They will eventually turn Cody heel, but doing it right now would be the worst disservice they could possibly do, I feel like. The fans are so behind him. I mean, people are cheering him left and right. To have him be excluded like that, what a waste.
Roman seemed the most heel on the SmackDown side of things.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I said too, because Spaz made a great point. It should have been Jey Uso all along, but Roman, as I said, never did anything to turn face. He didn't apologize. There was no comeuppance. He didn't go ahead and rectify anything. Like, there was no absolving of his sins. It was just the crowd missed you. I'm going to cheer for you. You're a face now. But he's still acting like a heel. So it's this weird dichotomy between like good and bad guy Roman in the same package.
He acts like a heel, but aligns with the good guy.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's this bizarre state. He still wants to be acknowledged, but he's a bit more lenient. I don't know. It's very magnanimous and precarious because it's such an odd situation that they really have to treat with kid gloves, because you either make Roman seem like a prick or just egocentric and egotistical. Like, there's not a good way to come out of this with this, I feel like.
When after the match Cody was getting jumped, he didn't want to, but in the end he did the right thing, kind of going to help Cody. Like, I don't know Roman's character. Is he face, heel? What is he?
It seems like, I mean, he's supposed to be face, same with Seth and Punk, but that's the problem. How many matches do we have where everybody's face and everybody... It's not always a great way to be. And I love the argument. Spaz spread it wide open the other day for me. He just is too damn good. But I was trying to be a little bit vitriolic and a bit spiteful, but I was saying how, people are complaining this year that the Royal Rumble winners are not main eventing. But every year since, they have. You know, we've seen, obviously, Edge, fucking Lesnar, Cody twice. We've had these Rumble winners go ahead. Same on the women's side, too. This is the first year we're not getting either. It's not like it's a very uncommon thing. Most times, the winner of the Rumble gets the main event. But that's not the story calling for the main event at this point in time. I love what Triple H says, and people feel like, that's a burial on what the titles are supposed to be. And it's like, no, you're still at Mania. You're still being represented. You're not missing the show. You're just not on last. It's a hell of a thing, That's for sure. Well, Sir Spaz, I know we've kept you much longer than we planned on. Same with you, my good friend Cody. What are some final thoughts before we head into this WrestleMania? What do you guys got for me?
What else?
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but it just feels like Roman should be the heel in this triple threat, but he's not. Seth even could be the heel, but they're both faces, and it's like in a pseudo way that is just a bit uncomfortable.
I think it's going to just be like whoever gets the loudest cheers that night out of the three will be the face, and the other two will act more heelish, I guess. That's how it seems.
That kind of seems to be the thing. Like, we don't even know who Randy's facing at Mania. Liz just made that great point. Spaz, you had a great idea earlier mentioning like, Aleister Black could be the one to come back because they could spoil some of the SmackDown after Mania surprises because they're in such a precarious position with Kevin Owens being injured. This was not something they clearly had planned. They weren't expecting it. It happened. It's unfortunate. Him missing Mania really sucks. But you think since Owens re-signed, how many times he's been in the main event of Mania with Sammy Owens against Stone Cold Steve Austin? Like, this guy has had a great run as both a heel and a face. So TSS says, you know how they fix that problem? If they don't mention it, they would fix 90% of their problems, because if they didn't mention shit for the Rumble, just say winner gets a title shot at Mania. There we go. Exactly. You get a title shot, not the main event, just a title shot. That solves everything except for that vape.
I want to know what happens with Kevin Owens. Does he come back as a heel or a face?
I think he'll still be a heel. I think they're going to have him be a heel, and they're going to ride the lightning, basically. They're gonna wait for him to come back, and then they'll touch on the Randy Orton versus Orton thing at like a what do you call it? Like basically a double SummerSlam or one of these 2-night shows where they need something big. But I don't know what they're going to do with Orton in the meantime. I mean, that's really just... I'm not sure. Spaz is talking, and he's still not able to talk. What is going on here? Let's go back into Spaz. Like, I don't understand why it's muting him. Can you be heard again, Spaz?
Hello.
There we go. Like, I don't know why it keeps muting you. It's very weird.
Oh.
I don't know if you ever mute yourself and it doesn't let you unmute. It's weird, but granted, we're getting there. So now I can get your... Discord's just hating us. That's why we're testing out all the bullshit in the meantime. I'm sorry, my friend. So, Spaz, my good friend, now that you can be heard,
Hey,
who does Randy Orton face at Mania? Like, who can...
Alistair.
You said it. You set it up great the other day, and I think that's the best knockout they could do. It's going to spoil the SmackDown after Mania surprise, but they need something big to get the people in there to go ahead and feel like, hey, this is worthwhile.
The only other thing I could see them doing is Orton Sammy, but you'd have to play, and it'd have to be really fast too. Like Sammy coming out in like KO's honor, in the sense that, like, yeah, we hate each other, we kick each other's ass all the time, but he's still my brother. That's what brothers do. I guess I'll take his spot. And
I was going to even just have it not even where like Sammy aligns with Orton. They can just have it be like, hey, you still claw me, I claw you kind of thing. And like, this needs to happen. Maybe.
Plus, like, Orton and Sami Zayn, and I didn't think about it until you asked me because I was stuck on the Aleister Black thing. But Orton Sami Zayn is an interesting match.
That's not a bad match at all. It feels a little bit thrown together, but like out of everything that you could have, okay, thrown together is not the worst when it's Sammy and Orton.
No, I'm just saying as a pair, like in general, like as a pairing, it's like, oh, what would you think of this match? Like, okay, if you brought somebody over from AEW and it's like, oh, Kenny Omega's gonna come over, it's like, okay, who would you like to see him fight? Oh, I'd like to see him fight Finn Balor. Like, there's no story there, but I think the match would be good. But my thing
and we got that a few times, like Samoa Joe, Balor on the live circuit and with Bobby Roode and whatnot. And it was like, hey, these are great matches, but there's no story yet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you say to me, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, I don't know what that looks like. And
especially face on face, that's a very precarious one indeed, too.
You're saying that Sammy should honor Kevin Owens, though?
Not honor him, but like, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens always kick each other's asses.
But
like,
didn't they say this time it's different? Everything is not forgivable this time? Or
probably. You're probably right. I'm just spitballing an idea here.
I guess it could work, but
have Sami Zayn be so honorable that he still sticks up for his big brother, even though his brother tried to kill him.
Used to have Sami Zayn take on Kevin's delusion. And because of maybe the timeout, he's going to be saying Kevin was right all along.
Well, remember, we never heard the end of Sami Zayn's conspiracy theory. We never saw that documentary.
We didn't either. And there were so many things that they could have taken from it. Because Orton versus Alistair, if not just, then just keep him off the card, TSS says. Because you know that Triple H feels about having more than 5 matches. Yeah, no doubt, TSS. But like, Ray Phoenix had a great debut. Him and Frazier were 1,000 miles an hour. That one spot where he did like the flip towards Frazier, where he turned it into Hurricane Rana, was so smooth and so well executed. Everything looked flawless. Him running the ropes, even him doing the DDTs from like the other side, where they usually go from the left, but now they're doing it from the right because of lucha style. Frazier was able to compensate for that. Everyone felt important, and although Frazier didn't get a ton of offense, he was still able to kick out of Phoenix attacks, plural, and then get pinned. But it was done in a way where it's like, all right, he really decimated the tag champ. That Mexican muscle buster is incredible for a finisher. So you have the muscle buster that slams into a fucking, oh my god, I love it.
I think we could be onto something here with the whole Sami Zayn thing with the delusion. Because Kevin's thing was with Cody Rhodes, like when he attacked Sami Zayn, oh, you didn't help me, but you went and saved Roman right away. Sami has those reasons now because Sami's always out helping Jay, helping Roman, helping Jimmy. But where were all they for Sami?
Exactly. We didn't have these people, doing anything that was really defending anybody. And that's been the thing with Cody. Like, he's supposed to have all of these Avenger-like friends. I fought with, you guys against the Judgment Day, and then we took on the Bloodline. And yet Cena's turning heel on him. And I wish they pointed out, like Cody saying, I'm alone. I don't have any friends. Even Orton, all these people then come and tell him to his face, I'm going to take you out. I love you like a brother, but I'm telling you to your face, I'm coming for that title. Punk did it. Orton did it. Like, we've seen it time and time again. Cody Rhodes stands alone.
You know the other reason why he doesn't have a bunch of friends around,
Why is that?
because it's not November yet, and
It's
we
not
don't
all
have to set
friends
up another-
wrestling.
We don't have to set up another War Games. I wasn't even going for an AEW reference there.
I knew I had to jump in on that one, but no, you're not wrong. That's the thing. It's like it doesn't call for him to have friends right now, and I wish they pointed that out more because we saw at the Rumble him getting just beat and beat and beat, and no one came out. And I get they don't want to have people mingle because Orton wants the title, AJ wants the title, you know, Seth wants it. Everybody wants the title from Cody. Punk said he wants
Sammy
it.
has that reason, though.
They all
Sammy
do.
has that reason, though, now.
Yeah.
I think Sami Zayn should just take over what Kevin Owens is doing. The delusion of, I had your back, but no one has mine. I think Sammy should just...
There's not a hard way to explain it, Cody. You're absolutely right,
Yeah.
because it could be so simple as, you know, Kevin Owens does a backstage promo getting in Sammy's head, being like, you were going to be off the Mania card. You were going to be held off entirely because I was healthy. How does that make you feel? Like, they can explain these things very well and simplistically. They've had such a long build to Mania that some of these things feel dragged out, feel a bit long-winded. Other things make great sense. It felt like a huge delay happened waiting for Cena to speak, and that was a problem. Same thing with Punk being able to announce his favor.
We got breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I just saw it on the
Breaking
Twitter
news.
Just saw it on the Twitter machine. They're doing another live action remake, Peter Pan.
Oh, God. I mean, you heard Rachel Ziegler saying that weird. She was going to go ahead and be rehearsing for Romeo and Juliet. The Disney adaptation of Snow White.
Jake, I haven't gotten to the headline yet.
Uh-oh.
Guess who's playing Peter Pan?
Who?
Taylor Swift?
Idris Elba.
No.
Oh, you're serious?
It's tired in here. I'll see if I can send it to you.
Oh my God. I thought you were
talking about
kidding.
the
Oh,
last
that's so bad. I understand. Like, you have stories with black African American characters. You don't need to change races just because.
Wait, you're not kidding?
I guess not, Cody.
I was laughing because I thought he was making. Wait.
I'm gonna see if I can find the tweet.
She was so cantankerous and poisonous that Disney took her off of the promotional tour for Snow White. And they're like, guess what? You're not going to promote anything going forward. It should have been $1 billion movie. It cost them over $300 million to do all of the reshoots and all of the published, you know, like advertising campaigns. And they couldn't even crack $8 million for the domestic. It was like almost 100 million worldwide, but
Here's the thing. Here's the thing was like
90 of that was non-domestic. So people don't give a shit about that here.
Which, when she was overseas doing the publicity and whatever and doing all her political bullshit, it was either the producers or directors went over, like, took a flight to where she was and said, basically, cut out your shit and
Stop running your mouth. You're costing us this movie. Yeah.
you're costing like hundreds and hundreds of people like their money, their jobs, etc. And then people turned around and found that guy's son and started harassing him, being like, oh, your dad likes picking on young women as an abusive boss and blah, 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 because it's 2025.
Of course.
But at
You
least,
know what kills me, Spaz? Because I was looked at like an outsider because I always fought for gay rights. Like, I was like, oh, in high school, where I lived, Wallingford was a very white established upbringing. They had one of the like head of the KKK used to host meetings at our public library here. We were one of the last towns to adopt Martin Luther King Day as being like an actual holiday. Like, people were not always great here. You know, we don't have the best, mindset and upbringing. But there was enough of us to make a voice and make a difference. And you don't see that as much nowadays because people are hiding behind anonymity and the keyboard and social media. I genuinely wanted to see a point where people could just be included, enjoy themselves, and that's all it should be. But for it to take on a life of its own as it has always been disappointing. These remakes are soulless, so you wonder why people don't give a shit about them. Her takes on Palestine and other things were so forced and so shoved down the throat of society with her agenda that people just revolted, and now this movie failed before it even had a chance. And I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it, but it sucks to be stuck in that position and get your comeuppance yet again, bringing that back into the forefront. But weird.
At least none of us are standing in the middle of a track field. Anyways.
Oh, my friend.
That's I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you're all right. Baz, tell them where to find you, my good friend. We're going to get the hell out of here. It's almost 2 a.m. We've been going for hours, but we've had a great night. We've tested a bunch of shit. We've gone through the settings. WrestleMania week is going to be crazy. The schedule we have is absolutely magnanimous and very extensive. So we're going to be live basically pretty much all the way through. Yeah. So the 10th, we're going to have this amazing podcast with Spaz and a bunch of great joining hosts. That'll be uploaded like all of our normal podcasts are. On the 13th, we're going to be doing a gigantic Mania prediction stream with OKFave, with Guapo and others. Going to be a great time. Maybe some also special guests being invited as well. On the 15th, we have Into Somewhere Weekly for our Raw review and the NXT review that night later on. On the 17th, we're doing the TNA pay-per-view review. Say that a few times fast while drinking. On the 18th, we have SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. We might hold off. We'll see what happens for Easter. But the 19th in the morning, we have NXT Stand and Deliver.
Oi,
Oi, oi, oi. That's right. And then later on that night, WrestleMania 41 Night 1, the review. Not doing watch-alongs, just doing the review. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe, notification, and bell icons with a thumbs up so you get alerted when we go live. Then the next day, we'll do a midday recap for about an hour. Into Somewhere Weekly will be there. WrestleMania 41 on the 20th, Night 2, 420 review should be excellent. On the 21st, we have the Raw After Mania review going live that night. And on the 22nd, it'll be a combination of the NXT review following Stand and Deliver. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
And that'll be Into Somewhere Weekly with Cody and possibly Spaz. It's going to be a great time. So we're going to be live from now until the 22nd, basically. So you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you tune in. Spaz, tell them where to find you, my friend.
Oh my God, on X at Spaz Phoenix, on Instagram at Spaz Phoenix, on YouTube at Spaz Phoenix Podcast, on Rumble at Spaz Phoenix Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon at Spaz Phoenix Podcast. And yeah, when I'm here doing this and trying not to be tired.
That's right, my friend. And Cody, where can we find you as well, my friend?
Twitter at Judgment Day Era, and on Instagram, Cody_Onidi_316.
And as Spaz usually says, I've been Jake, or you wouldn't be here if you didn't know that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell down below. You'll know when we go live. That's right, my friend. You've been every account. But it's been a great time. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for hanging out for this weekend review / hangout / preview of WrestleMania. We got night 1 squared away. Night 2 is coming up. Again, we'll have more predictions and whatnot. But thank you guys for hanging out. I love you all. I hope you all stay sexy. Have a great night, and we'll see you this week.
Later,
Thank you guys for joining.